I punched Ashley, and I yelled at her, and I don't know what else to do. They took Dad. He's one of the best wizards in the world.
That's why I thought maybe he was part of some plan he had or something.
Like infiltrating the enemy?
Yeah,
Well,
like
the easiest
getting
way
trapped
to
on
do it-
purpose.
When did you see that?
I don't know. I don't know how long ago it was. It was by the that corridor with the room.
Right, well, you can only tell that someone's being apparated. You can apparate across a room or across a longer distance, so he may have just been apparated from in Hogwarts to another place in
Well,
Hogwarts.
why would they just be like apparating him around like he's a toy poodle or something?
Yeah, and also we know that they use Polyjuice Potion, right? I mean, they used it last year to make another me.
Maybe there's something there with Slytherin family ties and pressure, but the other thing she mentioned was something about a boyfriend, and I can't remember. I think she said he didn't go to Hogwarts, or maybe something like that. I don't know.
What did she say what her parents do or did? Or?
Oh.
Wait, we talked about this. Weren't they like popular on the internet or something?
I don't remember. It was something that I didn't quite understand.
Wait, they're muggles?
I think they were famous in some way.
I think they're famous muggles on like the boob tube or something. YouTube.
I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. You can see various students that you recognize. You can see the teachers and the professors, rather. And you can see at the Whomping Willow, there is a name that you do not recognize. Alberto Vasquez. There was a naturalist from South America that was visiting the UK by that name. There was probably a picture along with the article. They looked, I guess sort of nondescript. Dark skin. They looked about average, I guess. Nothing really stood out to you. There was maybe one thing that was a little strange. Now that you think about it, though. They had some claw marks on their face.
Do we really think that Ashley is speaking to them?
Why would she ask where her parents were?
I saw her in the restricted section looking at the book, and if it had anything to do with restricted section runes, then it's not looking good for Ashley. Even if
And
she
also-
doesn't know what she's involved in.
Wait a minute. Light bulbs in my brain. Last year, when we did the play, the costumes that made us act differently.
I think that's
I wonder
happened
if
to
that
her.
was I wonder if that was them, the council people, and maybe they were figuring out how they could control students, and they needed it better this year.
Oh my gosh. Dang. Okay, here's what I think we should do. I'm gonna go threaten Ashley and take a hair, just in case. You know, if the whole Alejandro thing doesn't work out, then we can figure that out, right? We can
Yeah,
have
but
it as
what if she
backup.
gives away your plan?
Well, I'm not gonna tell her
interacting
what
with
I'm
her?
doing.
Right, but
I mean, I'm just gonna lean over to her while she's on her bed, and then I'll just just grab a hair.
That's probably not worth doing. Really, just in case she gets suspicious and somehow warns them because she wants her parents back.
Well, if she sees us leaving together, she's gonna get suspicious anyway.
Oh. Albus. James. Lily. Are you all right? I heard what happened. Albus sort of clears his throat. We're trying to deal with it, Scorpius. What does that mean? James just sort of rolls his eyes and elbows Albus really hard. How? We're going to rescue my dad. Well, ask him, you idiot. James leans over. Do you want to help? If you'll have me. Run, go! As you can see, the Whomping Willow's branches begin to sort of flutter. Several raindrops begin to fall off from the various twigs and things. The branches sort of stop for a moment. And you can see James sort of rushing. He's sort of moving his arms, sort of windmilling. You can see Albus and Scorpius rushing. Lily is right with you, Clem. Just everyone be on the lookout.
Okay.
James
I'd like to.
begins to cast Lumos.
Oh, hold on, you're on my phone.
That's not good.
There are spiders crawling around on the underside of the roots up above you. You can see they were hidden before. Now you can see them moving. James holds up his wand, looking about at the various spiders, and he begins to swirl it in a cyclone-like fashion, and he says, "Ventus!" as a gust of wind blows forth from the wand. All of these spiders, you start to now hear them as they begin to move. They are pushed by this wave of wind. James says, "Go! Go!" Albus and Scorpius have their wands drawn. As you rush forward, you can see that the spiders sort of land all about, and the two of them begin to cast spells as well. You can hear Incendio! Bombarda! Outside, you can still hear the sounds of rain pattering against some kind of roof. There is old, splintered wood all about you, cobwebs and spider webs all around.
So, what now?
I suppose we have a look around.
Okay.
Okay.
Stick with your buddies, everyone.
Where are we?
know.
Lily, do you remember what this place was? I think it's the Shrieking Shack in Hogsmeade.
What?
Wait, why do we have to be so quiet if we're supposed to yell in here?
Oh,
That haunted building.
Shh, Rosie.
Okay.
I'm gonna go upstairs.
You and Lily are headed upstairs.
I think we would head, out of the room that we're currently in, but stay on the first floor and just move into the next room we see.
Okay. So, seeing this, Albus and Scorpius, James and Barney will also head upstairs.
Cool.
I'm I'm gonna bring out McGonagall's Investigatorium and remind Rosie, don't touch anything until we've, given it a once-over.
Which is sitting there, sort of almost inviting. It's one of the few things that's not completely broken down here. You can see that there is a curse laid upon the piano. Yes, there is. There are detection spells laid about this place. There are bits of hair left behind.
There's a werewolf.
The werewolf will know we're in here.
Us.
We see Alex, Maisie, Rosie, and Olive on the first floor of the Shrieking Shack. You see something, shadow, moving about outside. Sounds of rustling out and around Shrieking Shack.
Maisie?
Yeah.
You see behind me. I'll protect you.
We can go back to back, protect each other.
Right. Werewolves. Don't let it get close.
Okay. Yes. We'll go together. Okay.
Okay. Where are the others?
Lily and Clem are still upstairs.
Okay, I think upstairs is okay. I did hear it if it tried to climb up. We should head towards the stairs and upstairs.
Okay. Buddy system. Rosie, stay close, okay?
Uh-huh.
And protect each other's backs, so nobody takes us by surprise.
I got your back.
Okay.
Sorry, sweaty.
Sorry, also sweaty.
Okay. Let's just slowly towards the stairs. Keep our eyes open. Their ears. The one's ready.
Does anyone know much about werewolves?
Little.
I saw a movie about a werewolf once, but it was also about a vampire.
Don't let it bite you
Yeah, okay.
or scratch you. Try not to let it get close. They're really strong and dangerous.
What kind of spells are good against them?
Remember the shield charm that we practiced?
Right, of course. Yeah, of course.
Getaway spells. Remember, Flipendo might work. Avertes Datum also works for keeping things away from you. Obviously, Stupefy if you're in a panic. And maybe Stun It, but I don't know how well it works on werewolves.
There are scrabbling sounds outside as if something is scraping at the wall.
Okay.
Sound of nails or something heavy on wood scraping against the side of this house, this shack.
Okay. Quietly, though.
Yeah.
We head upstairs, where Clem and Lily are investigating. Albus and Scorpius on the same floor. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I think so. What do you think it was?
I don't know. Albus? Scorpius? Shh. You see Albus slowly make his way over to the boarded up windows. Barely anything can be seen through them. Just the barest hint of light, moonbeams sort of making their way through the dust and things, settling on the floorboards. A faint, diffuse light making its way across the room. Lumos spells sort of have been cast, I believe by you, Clem, if I wasn't mistaken, to look around, and similarly so by Scorpius. And Albus slowly tiptoes for the floorboards, not cooperating with his stealthy maneuver over to the window. Scorpius looks a bit wide-eyed and he's, Albus, shh, I'm trying. I have to go see what that is, though. Do it more quietly. Albus starts to slow down, wincing with every step, hoping for no sound to escape the floorboards. He does a little bit better of a job heading over to the window. He sort of leans forward to try and look outside. There's something moving out there. I can see it. It's fast. It looks strange.
What?
I don't know, it's some kind of creature, I think.
Do you see anything else? Just the movement?
It moved around the corner. I lost track. I can't see it anymore.
Okay. Whack. Did I, if I'm remembering correctly, find something under the bed? Or looked under the bed and there was something there?
You did.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
There was some writing that you found there.
Right. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Sorry. Okay. What do we do?
I don't know. We should probably let James and Bonnie know, though.
Okay.
You can hear the sounds of floorboards creaking slowly above you. And suddenly, candles begin to light up all around. All of the candles that were out around the room. Albus and Scorpius look around a bit wildly. I didn't do it. Neither did I.
Should we? Okay. Should we go towards the sound or away from the sound?
I don't know if there's any way out of here.
There has to be a way out.
James can apparate, can he? Not all of us.
Oh, let's just walk out.
Back through the spiders?
Okay. Well, should we get together with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay.
Together is better.
Okay. Let's go find them.
Bonnie.
Okay, them first, and then we'll meet up with everyone else.
Lily says, I'll go. No, Lil. I'll go.
Why don't we all go? Why don't we all go? We'll stay together.
That's better. Stay together.
Yeah, don't split up.
And along the landings of the staircase that you came up, there's, a sort of like a windy, staircase that goes up. And it's really sort of crooked and, splintery and creaky. And You all sort of peek out the door. Albus sort of says, I'll go first. He takes a step out onto the landing. Scorpius looks at Albus. Albus looks at Scorpius. It's not like I'm trying to do that. He starts to continue to walk up the steps. He's got his wand drawn and ready. James. Bonnie. James. Bonnie. I don't know if they can hear. I don't want to yell. I'm going to go up.
I'll go with you.
And Scorpius says, we're all going. We're all going. And everybody starts to slowly creak their way up the steps. James! Bonnie!
What's that?
I don't know. What's that? Sounded like howling.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
James! Bonnie! Making your way to the third landing. Albus peers inside. James! Bonnie! Things are lit up here as well. You can see the various candles and the dripping wax around the room. And again, these candles are somewhat fresh. They're rather tall and they have only a few drippings down the side. So you can tell they haven't been here for that long. And you can see Barney is sort of like up against the wall, his eyes a bit wide. And he says, and he's got his wand pointed to his throat, and you can see the text sort of very small wind its way over towards the stairwell. And he says, did you hear that noise? All the candles came on. I don't know what to do.
Come here, we're gonna go.
James,
No, come.
James. And as Barney signals for James, James he's sort of looking outside. I saw something moving outside. I think it might be a werewolf. Barney's eyes are as wide as you've ever seen them. And he's visibly sort of shaking a bit. And James starts to walk over. We better get out of here. Come on.
Yeah.
And as he begins to walk over, you suddenly see the candles dim for a moment, and appearing in a dark corner of the room as the fireplace lights. Figure all in black with a wolf mask stands still. We head back downstairs. To the 4 on the first floor. What are you doing? All of the candles have lit up.
Did one of you do that?
No. I think I burped, but that was it.
what do we do?
I think we should find the others.
I agree. Should
Okay.
strengthen numbers. Definitely. I'll watch behind us. You three watch ahead of us.
Okay.
Okay.
Can we?
Let's just head up.
Can we?
If you hear me yell, then run.
Let's all put a hand on somebody else's shoulder and link up like a chain, so we know if something's going on. Wand in one hand, the shoulder on the other.
Okay.
I'll hold on to your robe since I'm looking behind us.
I take Alex's hand off my robe and just hold it.
Okay, that works. Well, I mean, you need that hand for forward or for your wand. If you don't have three, and you shouldn't do it. I read in a book that it's really bad.
Rosie has her hand on my shoulder, and I have my hand in yours, and then I have my wand. We're okay.
That works. Okay. Okay. Sneakily upstairs and meet with the others.
Okay, who's in front?
Well, I just know Rosie and Olive were back to back.
Yeah, so I think yeah.
So if Alex and I are at the back of the pack, then you guys are probably up front.
Oh, okay. Then it's probably you.
Yeah.
So
Olive, then Rosie, then Maisie, then Alex.
okay. Olive, you're being assisted by Rosie. I would like you to be quick and quiet, please.
So since I'm being assisted by Rosie, I roll with relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm gonna use my house benefit for a +1 to my body rolls for this scene.
Okay. It's a good thing you used it, because that's a 10. Quickly and quietly, you make your way up the stairs. Heading up to the second landing. As you do, you can hear some speaking up above you.
Can I notice something?
Yes, go ahead. This will be your relationship with Maisie. Wow. An 11. Please go ahead and ask me some questions.
What did it sound like?
It sounded like whispering. And it was hard to make out, but I think you heard Warren, James, and Barney.
James and Barney. Okay.
James and Barney.
Do you hear that from upstairs? My other question, is there anyone or anything sneaking around?
How shall I answer this? This isn't a simple yes or no, believe it or not. Yes. And I think you notice that the wolf noises from downstairs have stopped.
Okay. If I heard Warren, James, and Barney, that's probably the others, so we should head up again, because they're heading up to Warren. Maybe they heard the werewolf. Speaking of the werewolf, I don't hear it anymore.
Maybe it's eating a snack.
I feel like we would hear that.
Bit crunchy, probably. But I think werewolves like to eat crunchy stuff like people. I think people are crunchy. Let's continue up.
Continuing your way up to the second flight of stairs, we switch back to Clem, Lily, and Barney, James, and Albus, and Scorpius. You see this person standing all in black in the shadows by the fireplace, Clem. What do you do? They are wearing the wolf mask.
Who are you?
Unmoving. You hear the strange garbled voice.
I am a member of the council.
Who is the council?
You know full well who the council is.
What do you mean? No, I don't.
We have come today with purpose.
What is your purpose?
You have come here to this place with purpose, yes?
Yeah, to stop you, actually. So.
It is just as the fox said. You would find your way here.
What?
Please, place all of your wands down on the ground.
Absolutely not.
I would hope to avoid any injury.
You're gonna have to take it from me.
You're gonna have to take it from all of us. You're not gonna have my bloody wand. Mine either. That's right. Right. There's some very small text. Kind of inches its way into the frame. Very small. That's right.
Very well. It is unfortunate, but I will have to do things by force.
There is a small wave in the robes of this person. And before anyone can react, you hear the sounds of breaking wood below you, Clem.
Unfortunately, my companion will have to take your friends by force.
Breaking through the walls downstairs, the four on the second floor now see coming through the boarded up windows, crashing through on the ground, a very scary looking creature, rather hunched and sort of spindly, yet sort of muscular at the same time, curly, thick, matted hair and jaws extended and too long, with a scar all the way across its face, stares drooling in the debris on the floor in front of you. What do you do?
Vertes datum.
Please cast the spell, Alex. That is a 6. Unfortunately, when you go to cast the spell, this creature moves too quickly. You see a rush towards Alex. And Alex, when you try to extend the wand to cast the spell, you find your hand shake as you see this creature move too fast. Something is even more wrong as you see that this creature does not in fact have simply 2 legs and 2 arms. It has another set of legs from the sides where its ribs are. Strange joints sort of set up along its back. Some sort of strange, horrific shoulder blade set up back there. Trying to wrap your head around it and casting the spell seems too much for you as this wolf creature rushes towards you and you see it sort of tackle Alex, batting the wand out of its hand. Alex, I need you to try and tough it out. You're going to take 1 condition for failing the spell first and foremost. Take that first. What do you think happens as the spell rebounds?
I think I'm going to take upset. I think failing and when it's important again just hits really hard. Okay, and now I tough it out.
Yes.
Okay, that's much better.
That is very good. So, Alex, the wand is batted from your hands, and this creature is sort of looking you right in the eyes. It's horrific. And as you see it closer, you can see that there are runes carved in, scars amongst the hairs, all about. The rest of you can see Alex has been sort of tackled by this creature. It stands above him, the wand slapped out of Alex's hand to the ground, and drool.
Run!
I'd like to cast a spell.
Cast a spell, please, Olive.
Olive is going to point her wand hand out and just yell, "Stupefy!" And it's my signature spell.
Okay. Olive, you cast the spell, and it goes and makes a connection with the creature. It recoils, getting battered, and slams into the bookcase near Alex, and books sort of fall to the ground. Alex, you have a moment to sort of get up. What are the rest of you doing?
I would like to cast Accio. I want Accio wand, but I don't know what year it is.
Accio.
Year 2.
That's year 2. Is this with my relationship with Alex?
Yes. A 9. Okay. Something goes wrong, Maisie. The spell succeeds, but there are side effects. Choose 2 from the list here. What do you think happens as you cast the spell?
I think it was different than I was expecting. I think I'm emotional right now. I'm very scared, and I think I did it with too much of a flourish. So the wand came to me, but it didn't quite come to me as I was expecting, and I had to kind of leap for it. I think is probably what happens there. So it's different to what I was expecting. And I think the figure, whatever the figure is alerted to the casting.
Yes. Being smashed into the bookcase and books sort of falling out all about it. You can see that the wand starts to fly awkwardly towards you. It careens off of some of the books and lands nearby. It doesn't come directly to your hand. Rosie, what are you doing?
I was going to try to cast Flipendo.
At the creature?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and try.
You say go ahead and try.
An 11.
Flipendo!
Okay, you cast the spell, and you see them sort of recoil again as they are hit, and something seems wrong. Olive's Stupefy spell should have worked. Your Flipendo spell also should have worked. Now you can see 2 brightly glowing runes on this creature standing out. They are smoking. As the creature sort of turns its gaze towards Maisie, Alex is starting to pick himself up off of the floor. And the creature looks towards Maisie.
I'd like to cast 2 more spells. Fumos Lamina.
The creature rushes towards you before you can cast the spell. And it's heading for Maisie. Maisie, I'm going to need you.
Can I grab its leg as it goes past me? Try to trip it or slow it down?
We're gonna have to try and see something first. The creature does get a reaction to all of these things happening to it, unfortunately. Let's see. I'm going to need you to show courage, Maisie.
I'd like to automatically succeed as my house benefit, please.
Excellent. Maisie, you stand strong. You look fear in the eye and do not break. You gain a +1 forward when challenging this creature. So if you'd like to write that in your relationship so you remember, please do. Now, the creature is sort of horrifically intimidating. You see it sort of make its way over to Maisie. Alex, we'll say that you get to try and grab it.
Yeah, I think I would try to stop it before I tried to get my wand if it was heading for Maisie, so I'm gonna just to slow it down for a second.
Okay, so struggle please.
Do something.
And this is not your relationship with Maisie, unfortunately.
Yeah, because she isn't helping directly. Okay, struggle. An 8.
On an 8, when you try to struggle against something or something physically, someone or something physically, on a 7 to 9, you choose 1 from the list. You can shrug off the damage. You can take something from them. You can surprise them, or you can frighten them.
I think I don't think I can frighten it. Frankly. I would like to surprise it.
Okay. Alex, you grab the leg of this creature, which immediately faster than you can think. You've grabbed it and you sort of hold it in place. You see it sort of scrabbles at the ground a little bit, but it quickly turns towards you, eyes a bit feral and wide, bloodshot. You can see sort of like some capillaries probably have burst in its eyes. It turns towards you and moves quicker than you can think. It growls its maw directly in your face. It sort of backhands you again, and I need you to tough it out. A 12 again. Alex, you sort of move with the hit, and you sort of let your body go limp as you get hit, and you feel the hit take you right in the chest, and you maybe get the wind knocked out of you for a second, and you sort of spin and slide across the wooden floor. Olive, Rosie, Maisie, what are you doing?
I immediately run to Alex. Immediately.
This will be past the wolf creature.
Yup.
Okay. Olive's casting a spell. Rosie, what are you doing?
I think I'm gonna
watch as these things happen and then make a move, because I feel like too much is happening and Rosie is very overwhelmed.
Okay. Olive, I think you'll probably go first in this situation then.
You said there are runes on his face, right?
On its body, I think. You could
On
see
its
one
body,
maybe,
okay.
yeah, maybe like one on a shoulder. It's so weird to see where the shoulders begin
Yeah.
on this thing.
Olive is going to aim at that part of its body roughly. I'm sure it's moving a lot, but she's going to try and aim at that. And she's going to shout, Incendio!
Okay, go ahead and use your cast a spell move now. Because you're trying to aim very specifically, you've already rolled
sorry.
it. It's okay.
Sorry.
You've rolled so ridiculously high, it doesn't matter. But I was going to say, since you're aiming for a specific spot, it will be a -1. But however, Olive has, of course, in typical Olive fashion, rolled a 14.
Well, it's only because it's a first year spell, so we get forwards now.
Olive casts Incendio. And we see this creature get hit directly in the rune, its body sort of twisted and turned towards Alex. As the creature is hit, it sort of yelps in pain as it sort of slows down. Maisie, you rush over to Alex. You're able to pick him up. What do you do?
I give him his wand. I give him his wand, and I give him a really big hug while also running and moving him away back towards the pack of people.
So you'll have to go past the creature to do this. Is that what you're doing?
To go back the other way.
Yeah.
No,
imagine for a second, the creature burst in through the window that was boarded up, right? And the stairs are opposite. Okay. You all came in. Alex had the tussle with the creature and was thrown behind him near the window. Okay. So you guys were kind of like spread out a little bit by the stairs, and Alex was near the window, and the creature was in the middle. And you had to go around to get to Alex, and now you would have to go back around if you want to meet up with the group.
In that case, I will stay with Alex instead of going back, and I would like to cast Fumos Lamina.
Okay. Now, Rosie, are you going first? Or are you letting them do
I'll let
their
Colo
stuff?
cast. Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
Will this be with my relationship with Alex?
Let's see. Fumos Lamina. What does this spell do? I cannot remember all of the spells.
Second year,
turns
turns smoke into
wait,
knives.
Yeah, turns
Smoke into a dagger.
smoke into a dagger.
Okay. Now, are you grabbing the candles smoke?
I think from the smoke that Olive has caused with the fire explosion. In my mind, there's kind of with the yelp and the atmosphere, there's kind of smoke sizzling away from these runes. I'd like to harness that and use it back inwards if there's enough.
Absolutely. Good idea. Go ahead and try and cast the spell.
Is this with my Alex relationship or Olive
No,
relationship?
this is on your own.
But +1 because of the
Because
The
it's the
creature
second year.
relationship.
Because it's the second year, you get 1, and because it's a creature relationship, you get 2.
in my spell bank. Come on.
You are showing your
+3.
courage right now. 13. Maisie. Out of the smoke from Olive's spell coalesces a dagger. It sort of sits loftily, floating in the air for a moment, and it sort of falls into your other hand.
I throw it. And I throw it directly at the same spot that Olive was targeting the rune on its chest.
This will be very hard. I think I'm going to have you do this is going to be a struggle. And this is going to be, I'm going to say a -2. Because this is, you're throwing a dagger, which you're not particularly adept in, that we've ever talked about. And you're aiming for a specific spot.
Okay. So if I put it in as a -1 because it's a +1 for
runes
the
on it. We need to get the runes.
creature. I know. I'm going.
Okay. You throw the dagger, And even though you are courageous in this moment, we see the dagger sort of get thrown, and I think the creature sees it before you are able to connect with this creature. It sort of smacks it out of the air, and the dagger sort of gets knocked down to the side. The creature sort of spinning around. You can see the smoke sort of trailing up, petering out from this creature, and it lunges towards you and Alex. I'm going to need probably something from Rosie. I can't hear you. It's so quiet.
Oh, sorry, I was whispering. I would love to throw a swelling solution at like the rune area to make them like swell, to make them easier to hit.
Okay, I think we're going to need a roll just to see how this goes. There's a few other people in this room. Let's see how this goes, Rosie. Go ahead and struggle.
Okay. With my relationship with Olive, who's standing right next to me, right?
No, she's not helping you make this throw, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Olive is standing right next to you as you throw the potion. Unfortunately, the throw does not go so well. Unlike the last time.
Doesn't leave you. Okay, but hear me out. You know when somebody can't throw and then they throw, but they just throw it at their own feet because they throw so vigorously they let go too late? What if I swell myself?
Right. Unfortunately not. I feel like in this moment, the appropriate course of action is that it falls a little bit away from you, and instead it lands at the feet of Olive. Olive, please tough it out as a potion of strange origin lands at your feet. Your back is turned towards Rosie. You don't even know what's really going on.
All right. This is the same scene, so I can do a +1 to my body roll, right? Okay.
Okay. On a 7 to 9, the hit takes you off guard. Choose 2. Take an appropriate condition. You're knocked out of position, putting you in more danger, or you lose something important. Please choose 2 of those.
I think that I'm definitely knocked out of position. For sure. I think Olive's instinct at having something, explode at her feet would definitely be to move in some way. So there's no way she's in the same spot she was before. And probably take an appropriate condition. I imagine that either like the way that affects her is harming her, or it's a mixture of like the swelling solution is hitting her, and depending on where it's hitting her, it's causing it some kind of injury as she's stumbling and swelling and
I think you might just
werewolfing. Oh, maybe.
So, you jump a little bit as this happens, and we see your feet and your legs probably swell up like... Probably looks like Olive has been working out really hard. She's been doing the leg days in the gym for the last 10-15 years every day. And your legs sort of swell up, and maybe you can sort of like feel your feet like pushing against the edge of your shoes horribly, and it's just kind of it's so painful, and you sort of get knocked to the floor as this happens. The creature still looks like it is rushing towards Maisie and Alex, and from the situation, Olive, I think that's kind of what happens to you. Maisie and Alex, the creature rushes towards you, and it will look like it is about to pounce on both of you. I need both of you to please try and tough it out.
Relationship with each other?
Yes. Ooh, okay. 2 8s. The hit takes you off guard. Each of you, please choose 2 from the Tough It Out list. Taking an appropriate condition, knocked out of position, putting you in more danger, or losing something important.
I think I am injured. I think knocked out of place. Again, I've been battered and bruised, and it's just this is the final straw that hits the side of my elbow, and my right arm is now injured.
I took dazed, and I think I will drop one of my potions.
Okay. I will let you decide which one. As this happens, we head upstairs. Clem, you hear the sounds of your friends sort of yelling down below and some sort of horrible scuffling and breaking noises as this creature does not appear, or as this person does not appear to move.
You should reconsider.
Reconsider what? What are you even offering?
Place your wands down on the ground, and no harm will come to you.
The fact that you're asking us to put our wands on the ground means that you think that we're enough of a threat, which means that maybe you shouldn't be threatening us.
Such a thing is untrue.
You're gonna let us leave this room. You're gonna let us go downstairs.
I cannot do this. My companion will be finishing up with your friends soon, and we will be taking all of you by force.
I cast a spell. I'm gonna cast Alarte Ascendare.
Okay. Please try and cast a spell, Clem. And what year is this spell?
Oh, yes. It's a year 3 spell, and it's my signature spell.
Okay.
Does it automatically add the +2? Just
Yes.
asking.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, cool. Okay. So it's an 8.
Okay. When you cast a spell and you roll a 7 to 9, the spell succeeds, but there are side effects. Please choose 2.
I think someone or something is alerted to the casting of the spell, and the spell is different than what I was expecting. So I was expecting to, like, throw him into the air. But maybe instead I just, like, make him fall over. Like I just push him back or something. I don't know.
Perhaps. You cast the spell, Clem. And as you do, you can see that this person sort of flaps their cloak, and there is just the barest hint of a shield charm.
Unfortunate.
A wand begins to be raised, and then quicker than you can imagine, you can hear James and Albus, Scorpius, Lily, and Barney all begin casting spells. You can hear Bombarda! Stupefy! You can see Barney's sort of text float into the frame, and you see Inflatus! And you can see Scorpius casting a spell with a shaky hand. All of the spells extending outward towards this person batted away.
Futile children.
James continues. casting spells. You can see that the member of the council raises his wand and begins to bat away the spells one at a time while walking closer to James. The occasional spell from Albus and Scorpius comes out. Lily's throwing out spells. Stay away from my brother! And she casts a spell, and you hear her sort of yell with a ferocity that you haven't heard before as she says, Bombarda! And this vicious explosion of energy shoots out from Lily's wand towards this person. And again, it is battered aside. Runes begin glowing in various places. You can see maybe barest hints of skin here and there in between the stopping of these spells, these shield charms being thrown out. And you can see glowing runes on their skin occasionally bleed through. You might even see this like strange glow emanating from underneath their clothes, the robes. As he approaches James, quickly but seemingly unconcerned, he reaches for James and grabs his hand. James immediately tries to punch him with his other hand. Albus and Scorpius rush forward, and Barney also jumps into the fray. They sort of all seem to be grabbing this person. And you hear,
Enough!
Thrown to the ground, all of them hit with a thud. James and his hand sort of grabs forcefully. You can see James is wincing in pain.
Is there furniture in this room? Is there furniture in this room? Is there a chair?
Is, in fact, furniture in this room, yes.
I pick up a chair and I try to, hit the back of this guy's head. Like, he's busy with James. I'm picking up a chair.
Struggle, please, Clem.
Yeah.
An 8. Choose one from the struggle list, please.
I surprise them.
You do. Crashing down with the chair. Unlike chairs in the movies, they don't always seem to break, but you do hit this one extremely hard, and there's probably a crack in the chair as you hit this person. They sort of turn, and with a wave of their arm, you get tossed backwards. Clem, I need you to tough it out for me, please.
Yeah.
A 7. On a 7 to 9, the hit takes you off guard. Please choose 2 from the tough it out list.
I will take... I'm knocked out of position, putting me in more danger. And I will take daze.
You're thrown, spinning down to the ground, probably right near the fireplace. And you hear this person say,
Foolish. I did not wish to cause anyone harm. This was avoidable.
as we head back downstairs. Alex, Maisie look to be a little hurt. Olive, Rosie, you see both Alex and Maisie sort of a bit weary and wobbly as some things spill out of Alex's pockets. You can see a potion sort of breaking on the ground, sort of spilling onto the floorboards. What are you doing, Rosie and Olive?
Can I see between the two of them, like... Can I tell if either of them is in, like, grave danger?
I think without a roll, you can tell that they are in very serious danger.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Okay. If I was to use my judgmental eyes like a human being would I be able to tell which one needs more help?
I'm going to say that you can make a roll to do that, and that's kind of like what you're doing right now.
Okay.
If you'd like to do that.
Would I be investigating?
I don't think so.
Something?
I think that's going to be a notice something.
Okay. I'm noticing so much all of a sudden.
Yes. So you can see that the area where the potion sort of crashed onto the ground starts to become see-through, and this like puddle of strange see-through area of the floorboards. You can see dirt and stuff, and maybe some other foundational type materials down below where the floorboards are. Roots and things, sort of large and thick, making their way through where the light is now apparently seeing the ground below the floorboards. And Rosie, you can ask me your questions.
Okay. Well, I don't want to know what it tastes like. So, is there anyone or anything else besides this giant werewolf creature with 5 million arms sneaking around?
You've absolutely heard you've heard Clem yelling from upstairs, and there's something else happening upstairs, definitely.
But there's nothing else in the room with us, for sure.
Not that you can tell, no.
Okay, sick. I don't like that answer. Is what's happening to the floor dangerous to us or to the monster?
You think that this must have been the potion that Alex spilled.
Okay, but is it near that? Like,
yeah, it's near Alex.
It's near Alex. Okay.
Yeah. This must have been some kind of an invisibility potion, you would think.
Okay. I thought he was just like disintegrating the floor, so I appreciate the clarity. I mean, I know what it looks like, so how do we get out of here? I know you answered that earlier, but...
The way that you know to do that is back through the trapdoor.
Okay.
You haven't noticed any other doors. Actually, I take that back. You're on the second floor. And I'm sorry, I forgot. The invisibility potion would have shown the first floor below it. I mixed it up. I forgot you guys were on the second floor. So you would see part of the first floor below. And yeah, I mean, aside from the trap door downstairs, it would be the window where the wolf came from. Or wolf-like creature came from, I should say.
Sick. Is the monster between me and Alex?
Yes. Clem and Alex or not Clem, Maisie and Alex are by the window.
By the window on the other side of the monster. Yep. Okay.
And Olive is kind of like on the ground, like a bit shaken by what just happened.
Okay. I would like to grab Olive by the arm and try to help Olive to your feet. Are you okay? I'm really sorry about the potion on your feet. Are your feet okay?
It's okay. We'll deal with it later.
Okay. How do we get over there? I have more potions, but I don't really want to throw them. I feel like that's a...
I'm just going to keep attacking it.
Okay.
And Olive's gonna raise her wand and she's gonna cast another spell.
Okay.
At the creature.
I think this took too long, so I think we're gonna have to get Alex and Maisie's situation first. Alex, Maisie, you have been sort of hurt. This wolf creature has pounced on you.
And is looming over you.
Drool is sort of falling, landing nearby. It has one sort of appendage on you at a time. These sort of really extended looking finger-like paws and claws, and it has like an extra set of them. So one is on each of you and the other one is probably on the ground along with its legs.
Am I within reaching distance of the runes on its chest?
There's runes that seem to be all over this creature. You can see them up close.
I would like to press my wand, stare it in the eye, and cast Incendio.
Okay. I'm going to say you have a minus. The creature it's basically trying to sort of pin you down right now. And I think, I'm not saying you can't do this, but this creature seems very fast, and you can absolutely try to do this.
Okay, is this with Alex's relationship?
Definitely not.
Okay, so it's a year one spell, so it would be a +2/+1 for the extra creature, so it's actually a +2 because you gave me a -1.
I'm going to say, yeah, sure. A 9. Okay. The spell succeeds, but there are side effects. Choose 2, please.
I think one of the other players takes a condition. It makes sense for either Alex or I to be affected by this close spell, and since I can't affect myself, I think Alex is affected by this. I think someone or something is alerted to the casting of the spell in the house. Like, I'm loud. This is a real huge incendio. Like, there's nothing quiet or small about this at all. Like, it's loud. The whole house is heard.
Yeah, I take the injured condition from my eardrums being hurt because she shouted so loud. Nothing to do with the spell.
Mm-hmm. Okay. You cast the spell. And the rune grows brightly. The creature recoils in pain, giving you and Alex a chance to stand up.
I grab Alex, like I run to him and bundle up, mostly with my left hand because my right is injured, and he's so injured, like he's got a lot of conditions, and I try and help him up and pull him across past the creature.
Okay. You can see the creature sort of recoil as Maisie casts the spell. You can both hear it, Rosie and Olive, and we head upstairs again. Clem, you hear the sounds of yelling, Maisie, yelling incendio downstairs, more scuffling and smashing and banging of things. You're sort of a bit wobbly as you're getting up. You can see this member of the council with James's hand. Now he has James's hand sort of in some kind of vice-like grip. James is kind of like reaching up to grab his other hand, and occasionally this member of the council, Wolf, knocks his hand aside.
Stop struggling. Now, you have another opportunity to reconsider.
What are you doing to him?
I do not wish further injury to come to anyone here. You are all capable witches and wizards. You will put your wands down and come with me.
What happened to my friends downstairs?
My companion is securing their cooperation as well.
You can feel a piercing gaze beyond this black, sort of almost porcelain-like mask that this wolf has. You can feel this like intense pressure focused towards you. What do you do, Clem? Scorpius, Albus, and Lily are all kind of like looking at each other. Barney staring at you.
I'll go with you if you leave everyone else alone.
No, I think not. You will all be coming with me.
Why do you need all of us?
That is my business. I do not have to answer your questions. You are not exactly in the best bargaining position. Decide quickly. Perhaps there may be no potion for what I do to his arm.
You can hear James sort of wincing in pain.
As soon... Oh, man. Stop hurting him.
Put your wand down, and I will do so.
You hear James. Ah! Don't do it!
I start to lower my wand slowly. And then I'd like to cast a spell right before it hits the ground.
Okay.
Because I'm an idiot. Oh no, what do I do? The pressure. I think I'd like to cast Expelliarmus.
It does not have a wand visible right now.
Oh, really? He wasn't using a wand to do all of the... Okay. Okay, I would like to, if I can. I can see his, like, arms and stuff. You mentioned that I could see runes in skin.
Occasionally, yeah. There's long robes, so, like, his hands and stuff are, obscured. Actually, I should say they. I'm not really sure.
Okay. I'm so sorry. I just need a second because I feel like if I mess this up, everyone will die. So I just need to pay attention.
There's just, more wriggling and painful noises coming from James. This is happening.
Oh God. The problem is that the spell that I want to use is a year above me.
Sounds like you've made your decision already.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna aim towards his arms or wherever I can see runes and cast Defindo.
Okay. This is a -1.
This is a -1.
Mm-hmm.
God, this is so bad. Oh, Bus is in the chat.
A 7. A partial success. There are side effects. Choose 2, please.
My wand is thrown. Someone or something is alerted to the casting of the spell.
I'm gonna say you cannot. No, that's fine. That's fine.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Are you sure?
No, we're
Are you
fine.
sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. No, I can use that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yes. Clem casts Defendo as the spell that is used to precisely cut or tear objects. This charm spell is cast. And we see part of the robe of this wolf sort of get torn. There's the barest hint of blood that splatters on the ground as you cast this, and several runes are exposed on this person's arm. You can see them sort of glowing in tandem. Little wisps of smoke sort of burning, and there's a grunt of pain as you cast this spell, and suddenly James is thrown at you. I need you to try and tough it out.
Okay. Oof.
You see the back of James for a moment. It's so fast that this happens. And then everything goes black, Clem. Downstairs, you hear this large thud. You can maybe hear Clem, Rosie, up the stairs. You hear Clem yell out, "Defendo!" And a large thud. Maisie, Alex, you're moving. You can see that the wolf has sort of recoiled in pain temporarily. The four of you are sort of all moving about here. What's going on?
I'd like to cast the spell for sure.
Okay. Olive, you're partially on the ground, partially being helped by Rosie. What do you cast?
I'm how close am I to the creature?
10 feet.
Okay. I'm gonna cast Incendio again.
Okay. And this is just a regular cast. Are you aiming for any runes this time?
Yeah, I would like to aim for the runes.
Minus a 1 for that.
Okay. So since it's a first year spell, I'll just do +1 forward then. Because normally
Yes.
Okay, cool.
A 13. The clutch rolls again coming from Olive. The Incendio spell is cast outwards. You can see another rune sort of burn brightly on this creature. And it winces in pain once again. And it sort of spins and falls to the ground. And you can see it start to struggle to get up. Alex and Maisie are moving away from it as you are being helped up to your feet by Rosie. Up the stairs, you can hear someone yelling, Rosie. Wait! Please, stop. Don't hurt anyone else, please. Please, go with you.
Oh, I'm running up the stairs. Like, no hesitation. I'm bolting up the stairs.
What do you do with Olive?
Olive, are you dying?
What do you do with me? You're holding me up. You're Squid Gaming me right now. I'm just like hanging.
We're going. Oh, we gotta go. Oh, we gotta go. We gotta go up the stairs. So I think something's wrong. With Clem.
Olive is going to kind of like, I assume, kind of stumble to her feet a little bit.
Wait, can I shove a piece of chocolate in Olive's mouth and use my Hufflepuff heal a wound on Olive so that we can run up the stairs?
I don't think you can do all of these things. So it probably takes you a little bit of time to do any sort of healing magic here. Or to just give her a piece of chocolate. I think there's a little bit more to it than just giving her a piece of chocolate and instantly healing her wounds. I think this does take a little bit of time in this situation. So
I think Olive anyway would just be like, go. I'll be fine. Go. And she's gonna turn and steady her wand and face the creature again. Just be safe.
Okay, Rosie's going.
Rosie rushes up the stairs. Alex, Maisie, Olive, you are left down here as Rosie rushes up the stairs to see what is going on with Clem. What are the three of you doing? You can see the creature is still stirring and is moving about.
I would like to stand up the best I can and step forward, so I'm kind of got my hands protecting Olive on one side and Alex on the other. I feel like I'm the only person who's able to get up on their feet at the moment, even though I'm also injured. And I'd like to cast Fumos.
Okay.
Is this with relationships with Alex or Olive?
No. An 8 is a partial success. There are side effects. Please choose 2.
My wand is thrown from my hands and lands nearby, and I think the spell is different from what I was expecting. I was expecting like a sudden whoosh of smoke. I was expecting it's a defensive smoke screen spell, chat, and I was expecting this whoosh of smoke like I've seen other people do. I've never had, I've really never mastered this spell as much as I love it so much, but it was it's so slow. Like it happens so slowly that I'm not even sure if it's gonna work, and I'm starting to panic because it's not filling out, it's not covering all three of us as quickly as I hoped it would.
The smoke is starting to spill forth from your wand, but it's like a lazy sort of trickle of smoke. It's sort of like when you just turn on a fog machine, and I think it takes a little while to get going, and you're expecting this sudden sort of smoke, and you maybe shake your wand and you lose your grip on it and sort of fling it, and it lands probably perpendicular to where you all sort of are, sort of on the other side of the room there. Alex, Olive.
Accio wand. I try to get Maisie's wand back.
Okay. An 8. A partial success.
Can I apply my relationship with Maisie since it's her wand and I know it really well?
I want to give this to you, but I don't think after the fact. We can't do it after the fact.
Hey, I should have checked.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. Okay, I think the spell is different than what I was expecting. I think rather than the wand coming straight back to me, maybe it spins a little bit and spreads some smoke advantageously. And I think with the wand perhaps not coming at us in a calm fashion, or regular fashion, one of the other players takes a condition from a partial misfire.
Okay. Yeah, I think it collides, and I think it would probably be make the most sense. Either I mean, it's gonna have to be Olive or Maisie, and I guess Maisie's moving, and she's kind of trying to rush over to you. Olive is a bit stumbly as she's trying to find her legs. They're a bit swollen and sort of wobbly, and I'm not sure which one of you do you think takes this condition here.
I think it probably makes sense for me to take it, considering it's my wand and Alex is trying to help me, and it was me who cast it and lost my wand. I think it probably makes sense for it to be me.
Fine. I think what happens is you're not really paying attention to the wand at the moment. You're trying to pay attention to Alex, and it just like hits you like in the side of the head. I'm going to say you take an injury.
I'm already injured, so.
Oh, okay. Then pick another one.
I think I think upset. It's very Maisie in this moment to completely blame herself. Like, this is all my fault. Like, I completely screwed up. I shouldn't have let my wand go. Like, this is really, oh my god, everyone's gonna die.
Why are you in
It's all
my head?
fault. Like, it's so I'm quite confident that I'm now upset and injured.
Yeah. The wand sort of just smacks you in the head, and it lands nearby over by the ground. The creature is starting to stir and right itself as this is happening.
All right, I'd like to cast a spell for sure.
Yeah, I think we're going to head upstairs first, though.
No. No.
Yeah, sorry.
Sorry. First I ruined your feet, and then I ruined your scene.
Upstairs. Rosie, you are rushing up the stairs. You can
Yes.
hear the sounds closer now, making it to the second floor landing and rounding to head up the stairs to the third floor. You're rushing, I imagine, full speed, right? That's kind of the way that you made it sound before.
Sprinting, out of breath.
Yeah.
Like slipping and sliding because you're running so fast.
Mm-hmm. You can hear basically upstairs. All right, just please, we don't want anyone else to get hurt. Everybody else, put your wands down. Put your wands down. But Albus, just do it, Scorpius. You're rounding the landing and making your way up to the third floor.
Mm-hmm.
Once you arrive, you can see Barney, Lily, Albus, and Scorpius putting their wands on the ground and kicking them away. Clem and James are in a heap, like a pile, off to the side. And a creature or person, all in black robes, with a wolf mask, is standing in the center of the room. With a wave of their hand, the wands start sliding across the ground towards him. What do you do?
I would like to run to James and Clem and like sort of protectively throw myself over their bodies.
You rush over. You can hear this person say,
Welcome, Miss Earthcloud.
Okay, I don't feel welcome, and stop torturing my friends. What's wrong with that's such a weird thing to say. Ew.
Place
like
your
putting-
wand on the ground and kick it over to me.
I think I'm already like, because I'm like have my hands over them like this, that my wand is already on the ground. So she's just gonna be like, it's on the ground. What do you want?
Kick it over to me now.
Can I roll it or do I have to kick it?
Stop being a pedant. Throw it.
A what?
Kick it.
A peasant? Did that man just call me a peasant?
Pedant.
Peasant. I'm just gonna roll. I'm like tossing it towards him. Like there's no gentle roll. She's just like throwing it. Take it. I don't care. Leave my friends alone.
sort of waving the wands over. They begin to fly up into the robes of this person.
Excellent. I do not believe your friends are too terribly injured. Perhaps just some minor injuries for now. However, what is happening downstairs? Hopefully my companion has not injured The rest too badly.
If you're so worried about them, you can go stop it, I assume.
Perhaps.
That'd be great. We'd love to. Now you've got our wands and we're up here. Why don't you go downstairs and stop the rest of my friends from getting hurt? How about that?
That sounds like an excellent idea. I think I will take you up on that.
Great, thanks.
And as this person walks forward, you can see that there are several coins that they produce from underneath their robes. Several silver coins. They spread them out, and he motions towards each of the people in the room.
Come here.
Are they like drawn to them?
No. You can see everybody sort of looking at each other. Barney is looking at you, and there's probably like some text that's, you know, that would be floating your way. You can see that he's like trying to mouth something towards you.
Barney can't talk right now.
Yeah, and I think you can make it out. You see that he says, "Are you okay?"
I'm just gonna furiously nod and be like, don't touch that. Don't touch that. I don't know. Don't touch that. What is that? Why are you giving us money? We don't need your money. Please go stop.
This is not money. This is a port key. Are you familiar with the term?
Probably not. I'll be honest, but I'm not going to touch any of your stuff. Nobody here wants to touch your stuff. We do not know where your hands have been, and I work in a kitchen, so I know for a fact they're probably unsanitary.
A port key will transport you to a location that it is connected to. Surely you should have learned that by now.
Okay, nobody needs your intelligent sass. I'll touch the port key when you save my friends downstairs. How about that?
No.
Okay, then I'm not touching the port key. Like, it's like a little give and take here, friend.
Very well.
There's a deep sigh, and you can see faster than you can react. This person is in front of you, cloaks and robe sort of billowing. Standing above you, they look down and forcefully they thrust a coin into your hand. And suddenly there is a ripping-like sound. And things get a little twisty for a moment, and it feels like you're being squished. And Rosie disappears. Maybe just out of the corner of your eye for a second, you see Barney reach out for you, Rosie. We head downstairs. The sound of footsteps begin making their way down the steps as this creature is growling. Olive, you were casting a spell. What are you doing?
I'm casting another Incendio.
Cast the spell, please.
It's still -1, right? For the aiming at the runes?
Yes. Another success. Olive is so good at this. Olive, you cast Incendio, and yet again, you're a little unsteady on your feet, but with the purpose and focus that you have right now, with your friends being in trouble, you not knowing what's going on with Rosie, you find this strength within yourself, and you cast this spell once again. Incendio blasts forth fire and flames like a lance hits this creature again as it's standing up. It it recoils in pain, bouncing off of the bookcase, more books crashing to the ground. Maisie, you are picking up Alex, and the creature looks like it is in serious pain. Down on the ground, it's sort of trying to kick the books about it like it's hurt and trying to get up. You and Maisie and Alex, what are you doing?
I am also going to... Is it coming towards us? We're in a threat right now.
The creature seems like it's in pain. It is sort of... it's not moving towards you right now.
Can we get to the stairs? Is there a route?
You can try, yeah, absolutely.
Alex, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, make a run for it. Olive?
Olive, I don't know how quickly all this is happening, but she wouldn't be paying attention. She would be casting another spell.
Okay. I think Maisie, you and Alex will still have some time here. If you want to do anything else, you can. Otherwise, Olive will get to cast the spell.
We're as far as Maisie's concerned, she's not going anywhere without both of them.
I'll cast an incendio as well. I'll help turn up the heat.
Okay. Go ahead. 12. Alex, you cast the Incendio spell as well. And this was a general casting? You weren't aiming at a rune, right?
Yeah, this was just, I'm keep it down while Olive's doing that.
Okay,
Precision
sort of
work.
pressuring it. You can see several of the books nearby the creature sort of light up. And now, again, you have, like, decent control, but, like, some of the books sort of do catch a little bit on fire as you're casting this spell. Allowing sort of Olive maybe a little bit of a reprieve. You're sort of keeping the pressure on this creature. Olive?
Olive is going to cast another Incendio aimed directly at the runes, and kind of like as she's doing this, I imagine she's just kind of like doing this over and over the whole, time she's been there. Mm-hmm. And she's moving a little closer to the creature as she casts this next one.
Okay. Another 12. Wow. Good job. So, keeping the pressure on this creature, you hear it wince in pain again.
It's hurting. What if it's cursed? What if it's in pain and it's not in control? What if
We're trying to burn the runes away. That's what we're trying to do. To make it better again.
Incendio!
Casting Incendio after Incendio, this creature is recoiling in pain. And as you do this, you see a figure in the doorway. Dressed all in black robes, one arm visible.
That will be quite enough. There you are, Miss Everglade. The fox said you would be here.
Olive's going to cast. This is coming from behind her. I think without even looking to see who it's coming from, she would just turn and immediately cast Stupefy.
Cast the spell. Cast the spell. Stupefy. And you turn, draw the wand, cast it perfectly. A shield charm goes off.
If If we could have a conversation, that would be preferable to any more injury. I have taken your friends. I would appreciate it if you would place your wands down on the ground and come with me voluntarily. I wish no further injury here.
Where have you taken our friends to?
Again with the questions. You are in no place to bargain. And I see you have injured my companion. That is unfortunate.
Unfortunate for you.
I have taken your friends back to the rest of the council. We have work to do this evening, and we require your assistance.
I'm not giving my wand up.
Me neither. I stand next to Olive with my wand drawn.
I point my wand towards the werewolf, but then I tip it up to the window that it burst through, that's open, and I cast Bobilius.
The
Out the
Bobilius
open
spell.
window.
Okay. White sparks emit from the tip of Alex's wand. Please cast the spell. This is a first-year spell. This does this without any incident. Sparks shoot out like a flare from Alex's wand.
Very well. So be it.
And in a flash, the black robes move. Amorphous in shape, they rush towards you. There is the barest hint, a glint of light. Each of you, for an instant, think you see a coin. And suddenly, twisting and pinching and squeezed, you find yourselves appear someplace else. And that is where we're going to take our break. We're going to take a little bit of a break here, folks. If you haven't done so, please make sure you're following these wonderful people. You can head on over to tablestory.tv/WAW. Go follow them in all of the places. Please, go follow these wonderful people. They're wonderful role players and wonderful people. And if you have yourself a Prime Gaming sub that you haven't used yet, consider throwing it their way. Get yourself some emotes. Go support these wonderful people. Make sure you're following us here on Table Story. Twitch.tv/Table Story and YouTube Table Story there as well. We're at A Table Story on Twitter. And come hang out on the Discord where you can talk to other people that have similar interests in these tabletop role-playing games that we do here. Come hang out, tablestory.tv/Discord. Come join the Discord. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Hang tight for more Witchcraft and Wizardry. We'll be right back. Those that are conscious sees and feels the outdoors all around you. It is night. It is dark. You can hear the sounds of sort of nighttime noises. Gentle breeze wafts through an open field. Nearby, you can see firelight illuminating several stones. in the ground. Several black, cloaked and robed individuals stand nearby, various places around a stone circle. You find your wands removed, and all of you are just a little bit dizzy. It's kind of hard to stand up fully. Olive, I think you find it especially difficult since you're a bit wobbly right now. And Alex, you were dazed?
Yeah.
Yeah, you too. There's a little bit of that vertigo-like feeling. And, you sort of feel the wind on your skin. See the lights sort of flicker.
Please, this way.
That's my wand.
I haven't got mine either.
Your wands have been taken for your safety.
Mm-hmm.
You can see
I'd feel
Rosie
safer with it.
in the distance with Clem, James, Albus, Scorpius, Lily, and Barney, all standing nearby. They've been tied up from what you can see.
I'd prefer not to be tied up. I have asthma.
Please follow me.
Olive's not going to say anything, but just reach over and grab Maisie's hand.
I squeeze Olive's hand back as she takes mine. And I look over my shoulder to Alex and I mouth to him. Are you okay? You with us? Stay with us.
Yeah, I need a rock.
I know.
Or a stick.
I know, I reach out, I just reach out my hand to him.
It's okay. I grab your hand. We'll figure something out.
We will.
The figure walks closer towards the stone circle. And now, sort of moving about in the darkness, you can see several other things. Eyes moving about in the darkness. Some larger shapes. One that you recognize, Olive. You see a hippogriff.
Olive is going to burst into a run and head straight towards her.
You rush towards Cassiopeia. You can see the hippogriff sort of look towards you for a moment, maybe not recognizing, and then you can see it sort of start to stand up. As you approach, you rush towards it.
Olive is going to stop at like a reasonable distance. She's been around animals her whole life, so I think she knows like how close she can get to a hippogriff without startling it. And she's going to make eye contact with her and bow.
The hippogriff inclines its head and bows in return.
She's going to kind of like offer her hand out to see if the hippogriff seems like accepting of her
The hippogriff
touching her.
begins to walk forward, and then you can hear the sounds of chains rattling.
Oh, Cassie.
The hippogriff sort of like looks back indignantly and tries to pull its leg.
What did they do to you? And she's gonna kind of walk up and she'll tilt her head in a way that she used to when she was little with Cassiopeia, where their kind of like foreheads would lean toward one another. So she would kind of make that gesture.
She sort of nuzzles your head a bit.
It's going to be okay, girl. I'll get you out of this, okay?
There's a sort of cracking sound nearby. You all recognize the sound of apparating as you see another robed figure walking. This one is sort of carrying someone over their shoulder. And several of these figures begin talking to each other, sort of off to the side, hushed whispers. Olive, you're the closest to the sewn circle. You can see that Clem and James appear to be unconscious and tied up on the ground. Rosie is tied up along with Barney and Albus, Scorpius, and Lily.
Where is the figure that brought us here in relation to where they are and where I am right now?
You're the wolf masked person is behind where you ran from, so maybe 10 feet away. Your friends sort of trailing behind them.
Olive's gonna check the chains on Cassiopeia.
Investigate, please. An 11. She's on fire tonight. Let's hope not literally. Please ask me too from the investigate list.
Oh gosh, I didn't expect that to actually work. Is there anything of use here? As I'm investigating the chains and kind of looking around where she's held.
Yeah. There is. So the chains are bound. You can see like they're attached to this sort of heavy boulder, sort of maybe just it doesn't look like it's part of the stone circle. Actually, I'm sorry. It would be. There is the chains are attached to like a metal plate that is sort of, it almost looks like it's riveted into the stone. It is not super secure, you can tell. There might be one of the links is a little bit broken.
And I definitely spot which one it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Are there any traps?
Yes. There are
Am I able-
runes. I don't think you're able to discern exactly what traps they are, but I feel like this is too easy.
Yeah.
Your senses are, pretty sharp right now. And I think that you can tell that there are runes, probably on the bit of metal that connects to Cassie's leg. There has to be a trap. I just don't think you know exactly what it is.
Got it. Okay. Olive is going to kind of put her face close to Cassiopeia's again, and she's going to say, I don't know why we're here. There's a weak link in the chain. I'm going to try to free you later. Just listen out for me, okay?
You see the feathers sort of below the beak, on the just above the breast, sort of ruffle out a bit as there's this slight sort of nod to the head.
Olive's gonna give her little scratches, like right on the top of her head. Probably in a way that she used to do when she was a little kid and they would play together, to try and comfort her. I promise it's going to be okay. I just have to get the rest of my friends too.
By now, Wolf has taken the rest of the group and escorted the rest of you over to your tied-up friends.
Are they inside the circle or outside the circle?
Outside.
Okay, good.
One of the council, you can see that there is a cauldron prepared near the circle. You can see one of the council begins walking over to Wolf, the fox.
You were correct. They did try to follow. Good, I'm glad. Was anyone injured? Beyond rest here? My companion was injured. Unfortunate. They are very capable, young witches and wizards. I'm not terribly surprised. Are you injured?
Wolf quickly sort of tries to pull the robe down a little bit past the injury that Clem placed on them.
It is nothing. No, of course not. Is everything prepared? Yes. We are ready. We've been waiting for a long time for this to happen. Tonight is finally the night. Excellent. Miss Everglade, if you would be so kind as to join us here.
Olive's gonna kind of shoot one last look over her shoulder to her hippogriff and hurry over to the group.
Have you searched them for any of their Muggle technology? Yes. I have destroyed all of their technology.
He's lying.
Is he?
And you can't trust Vasquez. He was talking about how he's going to overthrow you and stuff.
He was. It's true.
He was like, oh, he thinks he's so smart. He was doing the whole villain telling all his plan speech at us, and I don't know. Well, I think you should let us go and you two can figure it out.
He's jealous of your success.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. Why would someone who's powerful and trying to get power not want to get rid of the other powerful person trying to get power? That doesn't make any sense. We're just stupid children.
As I said, they're quite capable. You are not lying. Several of them have major talent. I would have hated to do anything to stifle that. What we do here tonight will make sure that no one's talent is stifled. Friend. Yes, of course. Come.
You know, them being tied up seems to be a bit stifling, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's a bit hypocritical.
Precautions must be taken, Miss Everglade. I'm sure you understand. Hawk has brought back Potter, and we have Praying Mantis here with us, as well as Spider.
Shame Goldfish couldn't make it.
The rest are preparing the other locations as we speak. Now, I'm sure all of you are curious about what we are doing here tonight.
Well, obviously. I mean, yeah, I am at least. I don't know about the. I can't, but it's interesting. It's bad. You shouldn't be doing it, but at least.
I'm really appreciating your sass. I'm just nervous. I'm not really sure that now is the time. Okay.
Do you have a good book that I could read on it? Maybe a library reference. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Are you done?
I think so.
Surely you understand. Surely you have seen that things this year in Hogwarts have been a little different.
I shoot a look at Alex.
Less students. Less magic. Magic is disappearing from this world. We, the Council, are doing everything we can to ensure that it remains, and not simply remains, that magic flourishes.
Have you heard of the Magical Mishaps series of books? It just that it sounds like what magical messing with magic sounds like really bad idea. There was some transfiguration stuff, and curses are bad too. You shouldn't mess around with
I elbow Alex in the ribs.
What does any of this have to do with us?
Not all of you. You in particular tonight, Miss Everglade. Your help is needed. You see, there are many places around the world. Places that have been used for hundreds and thousands of years. Places that connect to great sources of power throughout the world. This is one of them. Tonight, we will perform a ritual that will open portals to the realms of the Fae, allowing magic to flow freely between ours and theirs.
Realms of the Fae.
Yes.
Isn't that just like opening the floodgates? You wouldn't have anything under control. You wouldn't.
Yeah,
Magic is
it
not
sounds.
meant to be controlled, Miss Everglade.
That's my point. You're going to just. What? Let it out and hope for the best?
I veto the idea. It sounds far too dangerous.
You do not have an opinion in this matter, Mr. Pippin. Not one that we will honor. The proper runes have already been inscribed. We have the ingredients for the ritual. However, the creatures, the magical creatures of this world, did you know that they do not originate here? They come from the Fey realms. Your hippogriff will be our guide in finding the correct one, Miss Everglade.
What makes you think she would listen to you?
I don't expect her to listen to me. I expect her to listen to you.
And why would I do that?
Fox moves closer, walking over towards you. He sort of kneels a little bit to look you in the eye. You see Colin Moot remove the mask. What do you think will happen when magic is completely gone, Olive?
Everyone will be a muggle?
And what
That's
else?
it. and I don't know, life gets a bit more boring. We don't get to fly and go to Hogwarts, and I don't know.
Magical creatures that live here, Olive. They don't belong to us. They don't belong to our world. They come from these Fey realms. Your Hippogriff. All of your friends, your animals that you've grown up with. They'll be gone. I'm a naturalist at heart, Olive. I don't want to chain up Cassiopeia.
And yet you did.
Because I know what must be done.
To what end?
To allow magic back into our world. Into the hearts of the people that live here. Stop our reliance on these things that are killing our world. This Muggle technology. Every day. Every single day, something worse happens to this world because of Muggles and their technology. We would do what? Give up our magic? Give up all of these creatures? These creatures that I spent my life protecting, studying? I can't do that.
What's going to happen to the Muggles when this happens?
I'll be honest with you, Olive. I don't entirely know. What I hope will happen is that more people will be given the gift of magic. But I don't know.
Who gave you the right to make this decision for hundreds of thousands of millions of people? What makes you think that you get to make that choice?
Because I'm standing here tonight. Just like through all of history, many of these choices have been made. Not at the behest of everyone, but at the behest of the people who took control of their own fate. I won't sit back and let someone else make that choice for me.
I think you're mistaken, Mr. Moot. I think the most famous stories in history are of people standing up to evil like you. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Super ashamed.
Very well, Olive.
Olive's gonna spit in his face.
I know I'm not allowed to talk, but I would like to make gagged noises in agreement.
You hear muffled yells of excitement from Rosie in the background.
And from me as well.
I'm sure the ministry and all the brilliant wizards throughout the world and, the better naturalists out there are working together to figure this all out as well. And they're probably doing it in a way that isn't potentially destructive to everything, because I'm sure pouring excess amounts of magic is great. That works really well normally when you overdo
Moot
it
begins
with
to
things.
stand up and put his mask back on.
With all due respect, Mr. Moot, you can take your ritual and stick it where the hippogriffs don't fly.
Unfortunate.
She doesn't mean air-controlled spaces. She means your butt.
Thank you, Alex.
You're
Moot
welcome.
begins to walk over to the rest of the council. You can hear some murmurings amongst them.
I told you she wouldn't.
We have to do something.
What do we do?
I don't know, I tried to distract them with wit, but it's not working.
I would like to try and take the gag out of Rosie's mouth where my hands are tied up. Rosie, Rosie, lay down, slowly and quietly. Just lay down. I shuffle around with my hands behind my back, tied behind my back, and I feel around for her face and remove the gag.
Should probably only poke her in the eye a few times.
But don't let them know that it's gone, okay? You've still got to be quiet. Come up. It's okay, you can come up now. Just don't shout too loudly or they'll put it straight back in, okay? Thank you. Okay.
So, what's the plan? Do you think we can, I don't know, kick over the rocks or something?
Clem, can you hear us?
You can try and make a check here, I think. Let's see. I think you can try and... Try and treat her wounds. The heart roll.
What? Can't wait. I've been waiting
Nope,
this whole.
it's
Cannot.
Maisie's turn. Maisie did the thing. An 11.
What?
That's 2 6s that were rolled
Oh
there.
my
She has a
God.
minus 1. Clem, you're jostled awake.
Clem,
Okay,
are you
Clem,
okay?
you're awake. Clem, we need your expertise on physical violence.
Alex, just give her a minute.
Sorry.
Where am I?
I
you-
rearrange
are
her
you guys
glasses on
okay?
her face for her.
By the way, Clem, because you were basically knocked out.
Yeah.
You got to take a condition. Sorry, we forgot to do that.
Oh, all good. Probably injured, I guess, right?
I think that would
Or
probably make the most
That
sense.
makes the most sense. Yeah. Okay. Now, she healed me of something. Would she have healed me of my injury? No? Okay.
Unfortunately, I think this is a good enough result. Waking
Okay.
you up is a good enough one.
Okay, got it. Are you guys okay?
Yeah, just take it slowly, Clem. Don't sit up too quickly.
We don't have wands.
We don't have wands.
You can feel
So,
yourself sort of tied up now, Clem, and sort of behind your back. You're leaning on your side, probably on the ground.
Are we all tied up?
Yeah. Except Olive, she's well, it looks like her hippogriff is here, and it looks like don't freak out. But it looks like Colin Moot is opening portals to
Mr.
the Fae.
Snitch.
Yeah, but also Olive said that the hippogriffs were gonna fly up his butt, so like that was really a high point for this moment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
She
awesome.
like
What I-
punched him in the face, but with words.
Yes,
Whistle.
exactly.
Technically.
So, wait, what do we do now? Are we trying to get out? We're trying to get out, right?
We're trying to
do
stop
anything.
it. Or slow it down long enough that people can get here and realize they've been.
How well am I tied? Can I struggle to see if I can get a wrist out?
Well, so these are two separate things. If you would
Okay.
like to try and figure out how well you are tied, we can make a roll
Yeah.
for that. Or
I would
if-
like to do
and
that, yeah.
or if you would like to try and struggle to try and get out of these bonds, you can. Are you gonna try and see like how well you were tied first?
I mean, I'm honestly dazed and injured, so it doesn't really matter which one I go with, I think. I think I would struggle. I don't know if I'm all there to like try and investigate stuff
Sure.
legally. So
Go ahead and try and struggle then. Yeah, the ropes are sort of tied in a very sort of intricate way. It probably would have been tied with magic, if I'm honest. Like, they were probably cast, so there's some kind of like binding spell on them or something, and they're just kind of twisted up and tied in a very horrific knot.
yeah. I mean, can I ask you a question? What I have learned in history of magic, or, at Hogwarts, year 3, would I be aware that it is possible to cast spells or do magic without wands?
Oh, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, you would have been told that like year 1. I mean, and Barney,
one.
and Barney, has some kind of gift in regards to that.
Okay. Should we... Barney?
Barney's a little bit a ways from you, maybe like 10 feet.
Okay.
Are you stage whispering to him?
Yeah.
Barney.
Barney doesn't have his wand. He can't.
It's okay. Barney, nod if you can hear me.
Barney nods.
I'm gonna ask you to do something really hard. Can you cast a spell without your wand?
His eyes go really wide. He shrugs.
It's a really
think
hard
we
thing
should-
to do, Clem.
I think we should all try to see if maybe we can cast a spell without our wands. It's our only option. I can't break out of here.
Right, but if we're gonna do, we need to make it count.
Maybe Barney is the best at doing spells without wands, but maybe
The best-
Rosie can help. Rosie, you're good at helping. You're good at Barney things. Sorry, I didn't mean to imply that you and Barney are like thing. I just meant that like you and Barney are a really good team, and maybe
I'm like really not good at magic. I would say I almost failed the magic.
you can help Barney. Barney can do the magic.
Right, but we need to know what magic and where first.
Use my head, Barney.
Something that unties these ropes.
No. Then what are we gonna do? Just hit them with slappy hands? I think they're too tough. What if we try to cast it on some of the runes, so we ruin their ritual circle or something? If we break it so that they have to spend time setting it up again, it buys us time.
I pee my pants.
I don't think that's gonna do anything.
Can I investigate? Whack.
What would you like to investigate?
I'd like to investigate the area nearby.
Okay. So you are maybe I would say maybe like 10 feet away from the stone circle. You can try and investigate the area around you.
Can I try and investigate the area around Olive?
Sure.
Does that mean it's my relationship with Olive?
Yeah. Okay, an 8.
Is there anything of use here?
Tell you what, I'll make a roll for it. Yes, there's a rock.
Is there anything special about the rock?
It is maybe a certain percentage of quartz. Otherwise,
Can
it's a
I?
rock.
Oh, thought you were trying to tell us something. Do we think we can? Do we think we can get to the? Look, Alex. Look, I like nod in the rocks direction. Look, Alex.
Have you been looking for rocks?
Yeah. How do we get to it? How do we? Do you think we can? Do you think we can get Olive to look at it?
I think.
What about Barney? Barney, could you cast a spell on the rock and like hit it on the head, or what can we do with a rock?
Can we rub our
use the rock just
get
away
rid of
the
the
runes.
ropes?
And the
Okay.
ropes also, but the runes on the rocks, we could use that rock to mess them up, so they have to redo them. We don't know how long it'll take, but it may buy some time.
I think we need to be freed from these ropes before we do that, though. We all need to be able to move fast. If we start doing this and all of us are tied up, then we might as well be dead. So
Yeah.
we have to be untied, and then we can do whatever, and then hopefully run away or something. Just anything but being tied up and waiting to die.
Are hands tied in front or in behind?
Behind.
Has the rock got some kind of sharp edge on it?
Roll me a flat 2d6, please, Maisie. Unfortunately not.
I don't know if we're going to be able to cut anything with it, though. I think,
Can I roll over to the rock? Can I just like...
Do
I'm
a
like
barrel
on my
roll.
side. Yeah, can I do a barrel roll? Kind of like side crawl over to it.
Wait. Don't wriggle around too much. Are you going to be sneaky? Do you need a distraction?
I don't think I need a distraction.
Okay.
Because if we do a distraction, then they're gonna know that we're trying to do something, I guess, right? Want to be
You
as
can
quiet
see,
as possible.
maybe one of you begins to see that the council members begin walking over to the cauldron.
Is anyone in front of me?
In front of you. I imagine that you're all kind of near each other, sort of spread out a little bit.
Okay, I didn't know if Maisie was in front of me because she just like pulled the gag out of my mouth.
Yeah, she scooted, I guess. She probably would have scooted over to try and get that away.
I would just like to lean forward and start gnawing on Maisie's ropes with my teeth.
what are you doing? It's wet. What are you? What?
Please don't hurt your teeth.
Are you okay? Oh, you're trying to... Is it working?
I don't know. Whack is working.
No, it's not working.
Oh, okay.
No.
I really hoped for that one.
I'm sorry, I
can we
can't even let
spit-
you roll
spill
on
the
that.
cauldron?
Can we do some
I eat a lot.
yoga moves and get our hands in front of us? Wiggle around and
I probably could do. Yeah, but what am I gonna do once they're in front, Alex?
What
As
if
the
we knock
council
the
members
cauldron
move
over?
closer
smack the
to the
ring.
cauldron,
What if we knock the
I'm gonna
cauldron
scream.
over?
I'm gonna
Was it throw the rock in the cauldron? Throw the rock
Knock the
in the
cauldron
cauldron.
over.
Knock the cauldron over.
you are
Okay, I'm
not
running.
close to the cauldron. You can get up and try and smack into the cauldron if you'd like.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna say. Oh.
Yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
also Barney cast a spell to knock the cauldron over.
Some of us can go to the cauldron. Some of us can go to the rock.
Oh, well,
Council members begin to spread out around the cauldron in a
No,
circle.
I'm up jumping towards the cauldron.
Rosie,
Are our feet also tied up?
I don't think so.
No, then I'm getting over there and I'm gonna kick it. I'm gonna kick it with my little legs. They're
Sure.
strong from yoga.
Okay.
Yoga does make you strong, lad.
That was hurtful. Jeez Louise.
You have repeatedly said that
I'm
Rosie.
clumsy, but I'm strong.
Okay, sure. Why not? You get up, and it's awkward. You gotta kind of like rock a little bit and try and position your legs to get them under you, and it's tough. It takes you
I've
like
been training for this.
It takes you a few seconds to do this as you try and get yourself into a position to stand up. And you see Rosie sort of get up and start running on over to the cauldron. Anybody else doing anything?
I stumbled to my feet and
Sure.
can't believe I'm about to say this. Run after Rosie.
Okay.
I would like to try and cast a spell.
Would you now?
Yeah, because cauldron seems like the start of a ritual, and that's not good, because I'm thinking bad things. They're speaking in euphemisms about, you will lead us to the promised land, and it's scary sounding and creepy, and they're nasty people, so I'm a try.
So, first and foremost, Rosie
Yes.
gets up and rushes over to the cauldron. Rosie, are you trying to be quick or quiet?
I think that they're gonna notice me regardless, so I'm just trying to be quick.
Well, I think what I'm saying is I'm going to require a quick or quiet roll here.
Yeah, so I'm gonna be quick because I'm definitely probably not quiet.
Okay, well, let's see what you get. Let's make the roll. And if you do get a partial success,
Tet. Nope, so close.
okay. Rosie, unfortunately, is neither quick or quiet as she rushes over to the cauldron. As Rosie rushes over, you can see one of the council members look towards Rosie, and this member of the council sort of waves a hand, and quickly, Rosie, you are sort of spun like you're spun on your heel, so you whoosh, sort of spin around, do like a 360. You get like, you know, that sort of vertigo feeling, like that dizzy feeling that you get when you spin around in a chair for too long, and you wobble a bit and fall right on your butt. Maisie, you also get up and start rushing over. However, Rosie has already been noticed. You were right behind Rosie. You are also spun in place and fall on your butt. Alex, you cast a spell. What are you trying to cast?
I fix my eyes on the cauldron really, really hard. I say, Wingardium Leviosa. And I try to, like I channel the feelings through my wand and my intentions. I try to, in my mind, make the same movements. I try to channel it through, like, my eyes instead into the cauldron and lift it up in the air away from them and hopefully drop it and make it break or something. I don't know. It's the first spell, one of the very first spells we learn and master. So I thought it's the very best one to try it with.
Alex.
Mm-hmm.
Casting a spell without a wand is extremely difficult. And it is something that witches and wizards learn throughout the course of their lives. Doing it as a child is extremely difficult. But you've seen Barney do it a few times. You've seen Barney use his writing to words spell that he's learned. You've seen him cast maybe a few first-year spells here and there. And Wingardium Leviosa was like the first charm that you learned in Hogwarts. Please cast the spell. However, you have a -3.
Okay. So it's a first year spell, so I would have +2. So it's a -1 total. A 9?
That's a 9. Alex. We see sweat beating up on Alex's face as he begins to cast the spell. What does it look like when you do this, Alex, as you get a partial success?
I think you can see me kneeling on the ground. Like, my knees are, like, digging in from the weight of the cauldron. And I'm straining, and blood vessels in my eyes are popping and straining. And I'm sweating. And, I'm just staring at the cauldron, focused on it rising up into the air, away from them. For my side effects, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a misfire, because I'm casting it without a wand, so I'll go with that for 1. And I think someone's alerted to the casting of the spell.
As you cast the spell, we see the cauldron rise up, and also we see maybe some of your friends rise up off of the ground. We see Barney sort of rise up, and he's a bit wide-eyed. We see Lily sort of rise up, and she's also freaking out a little bit. And we see, I would say probably Rosie begin to rise up. And then we see several of the council begin looking over towards you. As the cauldron begins to rise up, you can see various fluids and things sloshing about in it. And several of the council begin to raise their hands, but it's too late. The cauldron rises up into the air and begins spilling and sloshing out, falling all over the place. And it's at this point that you see Harry Potter begin to move on the ground. And he reaches out a hand towards one of the council members, and you can see this person fly backwards as if he's hit them. And Harry looks at you, and you can see him smile. And it's at that point that he begins to cast another spell. You see a stag begin to burst forth. Light is spilling out all across this entire stone circle. And he says, "James! Lily! Albus!" And you can see him furrow his brow. He extends his hand outwards. and he begins muttering. And the ropes begin to untie around all of you. What do you do?
I help everybody up and then run to Olive.
I stay focused on the cauldron.
Do we see where our wands were?
Please give me a notice something, Olive.
Okay.
An 8 allows you to ask me a question.
Oh gosh. I don't know if it's more applicable to say how do we get out of here? Or what did it look like in terms of
I'll give it to you. The wands you've seen have been deposited. Probably they seem to be bound up by something. There is some kind of spell that was cast, and it looks like they have been sort of bound up in some kind of cloth, and the cloth looked like it was attached and bound to the ground.
Olive is going to kind of like very quickly, her eyes dart over to Alex, and she realizes that he's casting a spell without his wand, and she's going to kind of try to match his expression of intensity, and under her breath she's going to say, Accio wand. And she's going to try and...
-3 to this attempt. Please give it a try, Olive. And what does it look like as you begin to cast this spell?
I'm trying to do math really fast. It's a second year spell, so we have normally a +1, right?
Yes.
So now it would be a -2.
Yes.
Okay. Olive, kind of like her head is tilted down and her eyes are just looking up, and her fists are balled really tightly at her sides, and she's squinting really, really, really hard as she focuses on where the wands are.
That's a 10. Olive, you see the wand start to pop up from the ground, and there's one that's kind of wriggling about a little bit. It's sort of moving and twisting, and then it flies outward. You extend your hand and grab it from the air.
She's going to immediately where are the closest hooded figures to us, near us?
Oh, maybe from the cauldron, I would say 30 feet, 35 feet, something like that.
Okay. She is going to...
Unless you meant like your friends.
No, I definitely meant near us. And how far away am I from Cassiopeia?
50 feet.
Okay. Olive is going to rush over to her friends, and she's going to point her wand at the nearest hooded figure, and she's going to cast Stupefy.
You point your wand towards one of the council members, and you begin to cast Stupefy. Please try and cast a spell. An 11. Olive, you cast the spell at one of the council members, who, it appears, is fighting Harry Potter. Harry is doing much the same with his wand. You can see his hand extended and flying like a glowing dart towards his hand. His wand flies. It seems distinct in the night. It seems like it is glowing a sort of bright white sort of color. And he grabs it, and you can see his face sort of illuminated for a moment. There's a slight smile there. As your Stupefy connects with this council member, you can see them sort of recoil. Not the reaction that you're expecting, but you definitely catch them off guard. Harry sees this and begins to cast several complicated spells, whipping his wand like he is controlling a leather whip outwards towards this member of the council. It looks like something extends from his wand. He grabs and pulls, and you can see them sort of spin and twist through the air. What are the rest of you doing?
I am running forward to the nearest council member, and I'm gonna kick them in the crotch. I'm just gonna full up.
We see Clem the Barbarian rush forward towards this council member. Clem, struggle.
Can I get any bonuses?
I'm sorry, no.
Rage bonus.
I'm
She
very
slips in the mud.
injured.
Clem kicks herself in the crotch, basically.
Clem tries to rush up towards the council, but there's probably some errant magic that's sort of flying around here, and Clem just like panicked, like smacks down to the ground, probably trying to avoid it, as there's this horrible like roll that Clem does and just like smacks into the ground hard. Maisie, Rosie, what are you doing?
I would love to have my wand.
You do what now?
I think we would like to have our wands. I don't know about Maisie, but I'm gonna start making my way downtown, walking fast, faces past as I'm homebound toward my wand.
Okay.
I was running towards Olive as she I was running towards Olive as this happened, so yeah, same en route, getting what mine and Alex's.
Could I move the cauldron above someone and then release my spell?
I think definitely you can try to do that, Alex.
Okay, would that be a magic roll?
I think that would be a magic roll, yes. I think it's like you're trying to cast the spell again.
Okay, so same roll as before. Yeah. Yes, a -1. An 8.
Another partial success. Alex, this is so difficult. This is harder than any spell you've tried to cast before. And it's taking all of your concentration. What happens? On an 8, by the way.
Yeah, I think rather than my wand is thrown from my hands and lands nearby, perhaps I am thrown from my position and land nearby when I release the spell. For one, and would there be anyone nearby who would take a condition from a partial misfire?
Okay. So, Rosie, you were partially in the air.
Yeah.
From the previous cast.
I was close to the cauldron. I think it's fine. Yeah, let me get hit. I haven't been hit before, so.
Yeah, but I want to land on a council member. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Which was landing on me.
So,
no, not on you.
I think what happens here then is Rosie, you're like trying to make your way to the wands, and you're like in the air, and there's this like weird swimming kind of thing that you're trying to do. You're a little off balance.
Yeah. Baby's first steps.
Yeah. And you sort of get spun around, like you get moved. Like if you've ever I don't know, had something like a tape measure or something, like one of the metal ones, you know, that's that you're trying to move. It's kind of like getting in the way, like if you've ever done the thing where you, like a kid or something, and just do that with it, and you want to see the wave go in the metal strip, then that kind of happens with Rosie. It's like you're trying to control something past Rosie, but she's in the way. So she's moving a little bit, almost similar to the way that you're trying to drop this cauldron. And we see the cauldron kind of like move up into the air, and it sort of just sort of drops. Rosie sort of gets lifted up into the air, and she drops. Rosie, take an injury. And you see the cauldron land, and I think, Alex? Let's see. I would like you to roll me a die here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Roll me a d5. I know that's not a real... Well, that probably is a real die someplace, but... Oh,
5.
Okay. You can see the spider-masked council member sort of look up in a panic for a moment as the cauldron boom, spills all this viscous fluid out all over this cauldron member and sort of lands on them. Falls heavy to the ground. That looked like it hurt real bad. Maisie, what are you doing?
Getting my wand and Alex's wand, but the minute that I see this happen in my peripheral vision, you just get yes, Alex! Well done! I'm so proud of you!
Inspire, please.
Oh, well, this is...
Inspire others. This is whole roll with Alex.
With Alex's relationship, right?
Yeah. And what would you like to do? Make the roll first. Sorry. That's a 12.
Yes!
On a 10, you inspire somebody. Choose 2. You make another person feel strong. You make another person feel perceptive. You make another person feel clever. Body, heart, or mind. You get to choose
I would
2
like
of them.
to make him feel strong and make him feel clever.
Okay. You got a +1 forward to body and a +1 forward to mind on your
Because
next
he is
rolls.
both. He is strong and he is clever. Well done, Alex!
Excellent. We see the rest of the bound, now unbound people here begin to rush over towards their wands as Harry is battling several of the council members on his own. He says, "Hurry up!" as he yells towards James, "On it, Dad!" As you see the Potter family sort of rush forward as if they have been born into this. They rush towards their wands to try and help. And soon we see a battle ensue. Several of your friends are moving about. Barney rushes over to you, Rosie, as you land hard on the ground. And you can see the text sort of in your face. Rosie, are you all right?
Yeah. I just fell on I bruised my butt.
Come on, get up!
Okay, I'm up.
And he says, you can see the text. And again, he doesn't have his wand. And he says, you can see the text sort of written. It's a little bit more messy than it normally is. But he says, come on, the wands are over here. We have to help.
Okay.
And he grabs your
I'm headed
hand
with him.
and he sort of rushes over towards the wands. Maisie is sort of cheering over with Alex. Olive, Clem, what are you doing?
I need my wand, so I'm running over to get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm heading to my hippogriff, booking it over there.
Okay. Olive, you rush over to Cassie, who is sort of a bit startled by the situation. You can hear her sort of nervously making noises, and I don't know what a hippogriff noise is, but it's probably something like an eagle, so it's very loud and piercing, and I don't want to ruin everyone's hearing. But it is sort of pawing at the ground, and you can see trying to free itself from the chains. What do you do?
Olive is going to... How big is the break in the chain that she noticed earlier?
A little bit.
Really small?
Yeah. Maybe half an inch.
Olive is going to point her... She's going to come up to Cassie really quickly and just say, "It's all right. I'm going to save you, okay?" And she's going to point her wand, directly, touching where that fracture is. And she's going to cast Incendio.
Okay. Okay, a 12. Again, the rolls from Olive. Still insane.
Because I keep picking year 1 spells. Because I'm too nervous.
It's a good idea. That's what they're for. As you get older, these year 1 spells are supposed to be easy. So, a 12. Fire's burning the chain. However, it sort of glows red hot, and you can sort of hear the sound like ping, 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 ping. The sound of the metal sort of expanding. Beyond that, nothing happens.
Olive is going to, like, while it's hot, she's going to try to use her feet, like the boots that she's in, to kind of like stomp a little bit on where the broken chain is to see if she can like widen that crack a little bit.
So before you do this, you can tell, I mean, it's taut because Cassie's fighting it a little bit. And the other bit is connected to her leg.
Olive's going to rush over to calm her then, and is going to kind of like put her hand out in a gesture.
Okay, convince, please. And I would say you have a +1 with this.
Thank you.
Oh my god.
I've never rolled this well outside of magic rolls before, ever.
Wow.
It's literally all 12s as well. Like everyone is 12.
I don't understand what's happening.
So, you calm Cassie down, and you can see that she's sort of looking at you with some sort of anticipatory gesture, maybe flapping her wings.
Olive is gonna kind of motion to, walk towards where that part of the chain is to kind of get some slack, and she's going to make a wait gesture to her that Cassie would know to stay in place.
Okay.
And then she's gonna try and see if she can get that gap a little wider without burning herself.
Struggle.
Oh, that's not gonna go well. I'm injured.
An 8 is a partial success. I think
I'm gonna question it.
I think I'm gonna choose what happens for you here. You're keeping the chain red hot while you are trying to do this because you know that will help. Using your foot, you stomp on it. You burn yourself as you take an injury. Unfortunately, it is so hot, but you know that this is the best way to free her. The chain breaks, and you and Cassie are free. Majestically, you feel the wind sort of blow out from her fully expanded wings, and she kneels down for you.
Olive's going to climb onto her back and wrap her arms tightly around her and kind of squeeze her ankles in just on Cassie's right haunch, which she would know means to kind of direct her up and around to the right.
Flying up into the air, Olive takes off with Cassie. And you hear the loud, piercing eagle in the night as she takes off, heading for the rest. A battle is taking place as the rest of the Potter family, Scorpius, Barney, Rosie, Maisie, Clem, and Alex, join the fight. Wands and spells light up the field all around these stones, and you hear Harry's voice yelling through the night. No! Several shapes begin to appear on the horizon. You see brooms flying in, lights in the night, and several figures landing at the site, coalescing into various forms as they apparate short distances off of their brooms. We see several oars appearing all around. Harry raises his wand and says, "You're finished. Give up now. Put your wands down on the ground. You see the council members looking all around. And you hear one of them speak up.
Mr. Potter, I expected you to be a great wizard, much like all stories say. But the students here surprised me the most.
All of you can hear the sort of sounds of the hippogriff up in the air. Looking around, you probably don't see Olive anywhere nearby.
But unfortunately, we must be leaving. The rituals at the other sites should have already been completed.
What do you mean? What other sites?
This was not the only one. Already, the portals have opened.
What are you talking about?
You'll see.
There is a crack sound of apparating as several of the council members begin to disappear. The one that was hit by the cauldron, however, remains. Find out where they went. Use tracing spells. Everyone spread out. Begin using whatever trace magic you have. We have to find out where they went. You see the oars start to split off, and Harry turns towards you. You can see he's a little injured. There's probably a few burn marks, maybe like on his face, and a few cuts and bruises. As he looks towards his children, and he says, "Is everyone all right? James, Lily, Albus, are you all right?" "Yeah." James is sort of like holding his ribs, and he's like, "A little hurt. It should do with some rest, but I think I'll be all right." "Did they hit you with a spell, or?" It's my ribs, Dad. I'm all right." "Are you sure?" "Dad, I'm all right." And Harry sort of looks towards the rest of you. Are you all right?"
I'm running towards Alex and kneeling down next to him. Alex, you okay? Alex, you... I rummage through my cloak for anything that might be useful and everything.
Sorry, I'm really sore and tired, but I'm okay. I'm okay. You're okay.
I look for some food, some chocolate, something that
It's
might.
okay. No, we didn't. I can just have a hug. A hug would do really good right now.
I give him a giant hug. You did so well. I'm so proud of you. That was
I have to
amazing.
protect you.
Without your wand and everything. You were great. You did it.
Well, yeah. I tried.
You saved us.
Yeah. Okay.
I kiss him. Just once. A short, very sweet kiss on the mouth.
Well, now I feel much better. I don't know why. All of a sudden, if I can do this all again. Who wants to fight? I'm ready.
Alex, you can remove one condition.
Okay. Well, I'm not upset anymore. I'm really happy. I mean, it's been really, really, really hard, but well, I mean, it was worth it. You're the best, Maisie.
No, you.
No, yeah. Okay. Do we need to help? Do other people need help?
Oh, yeah. Clem?
No, Clem's did they get worse again?
Yeah.
Clem,
Are you okay?
sure.
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, nothing that a sit in the hospital wing won't fix. I hit him with a chair.
How was that?
Do you want chocolate? I have this bar of chocolate. If you want,
Where's
It's okay. You can save it for someone.
Swooping
Where's
down
Olive?
on a hippogriff, you see Olive riding Cassiopeia, landing near the light. She's illuminated.
I don't want to spoil anything, but they just
kissed on the lips. I just wanted you to be a part of the moment.
Oh, I've missed it.
Okay, wait, hold on. Go again. And she's gonna kind of like put her ankles back into Cassie to signify like a little up to go just above them. And then Olive's gonna cast a spell. I'm gonna cast the Bobilius charm, which is supposed to make white sparks emit from the tip of the wand.
Yeah.
So
There's a sort of sparkler-like effect happening up in the air.
and I do it just over where Maisie and Alex are. Okay, go again.
I do owe you one. Just need to even it up. That's the rules. And I kiss Maisie.
You all...
Did they kiss? I can't see from up here.
they kissed. Alex did the kissing this time.
Okay. Be right down. And she's gonna get Cassie to go back.
Alex, look, this isn't really the time or place, but what would happen if we weren't I mean, like, everything's falling apart. This is not the time, but I just
It's okay.
what would happen if what would happen if I wasn't at Hogwarts anymore?
It would be way less awesome.
Well, would you write to me?
Oh yeah, of course I would. Maisie, why? What's happening?
I pick up one of the things that's fallen out of my robe in the chaos of me trying to find something for Alex to eat. And I pass him a letter addressed to Miss Maisie Schuyler. And it's crumpled. It's the kind of piece of paper that you find at the bottom of a bag that you have had in there for weeks, months. It's got ink on the corner. It's crumpled. And I pass him this letter. I got it. I got it months ago, and I didn't know what to say, and I didn't know how to tell you all. And I mean, there's no right moment with SWOFF, right? Every moment's chaos. And it seems like maybe the right moment is in the chaos. Maybe there's not really more of a SWOFF moment than this.
I don't.
Just open it. Have a look.
Okay. What does it
Inside,
say?
you can see the header. Maisie, would you like to read it?
The header is a goalpost, a Quidditch goalpost, with a flag underneath it that's multiple coloured stripes, and an arc over the top of the hoop in the shape of a broom. And the header paper reads the words Valencia College. It's a letter from the headmistress of Valencia College, explaining that Maisie has been offered a place at this prestigious new college to train upcoming talent in terms of Quidditch athletes. Enclosed is also a letter of recommendation from Headmistress McGonagall.
I don't know what to say.
Maisie, that's amazing. Congratulations.
That, like,
Do they have good chefs?
I missed out on so much school last year, and I just...
I know it's okay. I'll start practicing Quidditch.
I mean, you don't
I'll
have to
get-
play Quidditch, you don't have to...
And I don't. I want to be able to see.
Well, they allow visitors, some weekends, and there's matches, and, you can all come if you want,
Every time I can, I want.
we all will
to
come.
see you.
Yeah.
I mean, if
And
I
I'll
go...
write letters the rest of the time. I'm sorry,
It's just that, they have a really good hospital nearby. And so, my mum and dad said that it would be good for my mum, and
it'll be good for you too. Like, it's all good.
and I
I know
can
that.
see her.
It just doesn't feel so good for me, but I'm happy as well.
I'm not.
It's okay. We'll be happy enough for you until you are.
And proud.
Just hug me, see. And it's good things. It's gonna be really good for your mom. You'll make lots of people really good at Quidditch and get even better yourself, and then I'll be here studying and I'll get good at stuff too, and
They say that it's gonna be like the people that like play for play for England in the future, and I mean,
I saw the
maybe-
broomsticks first. That's what I thought was happening. I thought she's being recruited into the big leagues already. Now she's gone off around the world. I'll never be able to track her down, but you're going to be in one place at least, so I know where to send the letters. So it's as bad as it could be.
And I get to see my mum every weekend, and
You can read I'll write some stuff in the letters for your mum too. The first one will be an introduction, and you can read it to her and stuff like that.
I'm really sorry I didn't tell you before.
No, because I think it's no, it's okay. I know if I would. I don't know if I would even be able to ever say anything. I'd be so nervous and scared I'd probably just disappear. You're so brave.
Sill's the person who just cast this spell without your wand and saved the day, Alex. You know, I
Well,
meant it. You are so kind and so strong and so smart and so brave and...
Well, I'll keep working on those things even when you're not around. I promise. The rest of SWOFF, they'll keep an eye on me and make sure I. And then we can meet up on holidays or something if you want, maybe.
Well, my dad spoke to McGonagall and they said that me and my dad can come and stay in Hogsmeade sometime, and then we could, you know, when you can all come to Hogsmeade and we can do whatever you want to do at Hogsmeade, you know. So I guess this was the wrong time to tell you all.
No, it really wasn't. Well, who knows?
It's sort of like get everything out all at once.
Yeah, I feel like that's good.
And then I can focus on the physical pain instead of the emotional one.
Probably by now Olive would land, I think.
Yeah. You are amazing, and well, I guess they saw that, and you'll still be amazing. You'll just be further away amazing, but...
And it's like, I'll probably have to take so much time off anyway, you know, with my mum and everything, and then I'll just miss you so much.
This doesn't make me like you any less, you know. You're still special.
No, you.
I can't say it again. I'll just keep crying.
Olive's gonna
Dating,
kind of...
all right. Still dating.
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Good. Oh, I was so scared to ask.
If you want to. I mean, it's not
100%.
far. I'm not going to be far away, just a few hundred miles, but it's not...
It's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, please. Okay, good.
I think all of you were probably expecting a different thing to be going on when you landed. You see your
Yeah, while
friends gearing up.
Maisie and Alex are having that little back and forth, she's gonna kind of lean towards Clem and Rosie and go, did they not like the spell?
I'm gonna grab her hand.
What? What's wrong?
It's good news.
Then why are you holding my hand like it's bad news?
Maisie got scouted for a really good Quidditch school. And she's gonna go there.
When?
I'd pass Olive the letter, which has got several water droplets on it at this point. Next term.
That's amazing. You should be so proud.
I am. Oh, you meant Maisie.
I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
Yeah, really proud of you.
I give Olive a hug.
You're going to visit, right?
Of course. And my dad said that we can stay at Hogs. I'm not far away, just a few hundred miles, so my dad says he can come to Hogsmeade and stay with me so we can see you. There's a hospital nearby for my mum, so I can see her every weekend. And you can come to the matches, and I already told them about your hat. Of the lions, and they said no wonder I had got so far with such a good support network. So, thank you.
You'll write back if I write you letters.
Of course, of course, and I'm so sorry I didn't tell you before. I didn't know how. Honestly, I wasn't even really very sure if I would go, because I didn't want to say goodbye to you all, but my dad says it's not goodbye, it's just see you soon.
I think it's see you, SWOFF.
See you, SWOFF.
SWOFF you soon, or some variation.
SWOFF you soon.
You don't have to be at Hogwarts to still be a part of SWOFF, right?
I mean, it's okay if I'm not.
Oh no.
I can be like
Talking.
on
Oh, no,
Please
yeah,
just stop talking. That's enough. I don't want to hear anymore. You're being ridiculous.
If anything, this is very exciting. It's like we're sending we're establishing a foreign embassy for SWOFF.
spy.
And you are a very brave first international SWOFF traveller.
Yeah, you can report the goings on that are suspicious.
Very
Speak a
important
different
work.
language in Valencia.
The Valencia chapter of SWOFF.
It's the worst timing to tell you, but I was just saying that it's maybe the most SWOFF timing, right? Because what could be more SWOFF than it's something really crazy and chaotic and dangerous and powerful, and then
You see, there was an explosion during our first date. I think this is going better than that, Dan.
I think you're right. Think you're right.
We just thrive on chaos.
Yeah, it's par for the
It
course.
thrives on us, I think, sometimes.
You're like, yeah, that might be right.
You won't get into trouble without me, will you?
No, we definitely will.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely, we will.
absolutely. We wouldn't lie to you, Maisie.
You
Am
are
I going
going
to-
to be worried, probably. Yeah, you should be.
All the
But we will-
time.
We will all try to keep what you would say to us in our minds and hearts at all times. You'll be with us always.
Oh, Clem, that's really lovely.
I give her a big hug.
I'd just cry. Her shoulder is
Join
just
the
wet
hug.
with tears.
I think it's SWOFF hug time.
Olive's gonna join. What's that, Rosie?
I'm joining the hug, but I'm seeking in any edible food I can find into Maisie's pockets.
SWOFF forever. Doesn't matter how far you go.
SWOFF forever, Maisie.
So forever.
There's a collective group hug all around. Lily and Barney join in. Albus and Scorpius, who have probably caught half the conversation or so. And we see the camera sort of zoom out in the field as we see several lights sort of dancing about as the aurors begin casting various tracing magic. And that is going to be the end of this episode. I think.
Bravo.
Well, Well done. Well done, everybody. I will give you a little bit of a hint and say that you have drastically changed the course of the future years by the events that have happened today.
If only I'd been able to kick that guy in the crotch and everything would have turned out totally
Only
different.
my swelling solution. It ate the right person instead of Olive. We would have been way better off.
Well done. Bravo. Brava. Oh. So, where do we go from here?
I give Maisie a -1 for ditching us.
Yeah.
So obviously, people that have been watching probably might have been wondering about a few things, Quidditch, and a few other things, obviously we have the. Sorry, Mirggles just ruined me.
What?
I can't tell if you were serious or you were just trying to troll me.
No, I'm being serious. I want to respect the show and the
Just
character,
take your
but
wig
I'm also
off. Nobody
emotionally
cares.
destroyed.
It's a nerd.
Oh God. Yeah. So, Kolo, do you want to speak on this? Or would you like
Not really, but I'll do my best. This is my last episode of Witchcraft and Wizardry. I don't want to go. I think it's very clear quite how much this show means to me, and how much of an amazing time I have had with this show, this incredible system work, and you absolutely phenomenal lot. It's been just one of the best experiences that I've had in content creation, and I'm forever grateful to have got to do it all by your side. Many of you know that I took a lot of time off the show earlier this year, last school year, and if you've come to see my content, you might know a little bit about my health situation. And it's really strange that I'm saying this and doing this at a time when actually my health have been really good for the last week. So it feels really strange to be talking about this. But those of you who deal with chronic illnesses will know that there's periods where things are better and periods where you have flare-ups and not very much is possible. I have a form of spondyloarthritis, which affects my hands, my ability to use them, my energy levels, and the amount that I'm about to do quite significantly. When we started the show, this wasn't diagnosed. It wasn't a huge part of my life in the way that it is now. And unfortunately, I can't keep up with the number of commitments that I have throughout the times when I get a really significant pain flare-up. I've also recently, and there's so many parallels to Maisie leaving here, because I also recently got an amazing opportunity to be part of a group of people who have the same condition as me, every week on a Wednesday, to have real, thorough, intensive treatment and help. And what folks might not know if they're not in Europe is that the stream finishes usually after midnight here. This appointment is every week on a Monday, and I have to get up at 4:30 in the morning to be able to go. And it's nearly 3 hours there and nearly 3 hours back for me to do it. And it's got to the point where, unfortunately, I just can't survive on the amount of sleep and be able to get the most out of this experience that's going to be amazing for my health, already has been amazing for my health. And I'm at the position where I really need to give my all to this Wednesday morning and try and get the best out of it, so I can heal up and be in the best physical condition that I can. And I've also felt that I've not been able to give as much to the show as I've just made the mistake of looking at chat. It can make me cry. I've not been able to give as much to the show as I would really like to over the last few months. And I think that that's been noticeable for me, and I've cancelled a lot of shows, and I feel like this is the right thing for me, even though it's the really horribly hard thing, to put my health first and do my best. But the great news is that this means that I can spend my Wednesday travel time listening to Witchcraft and Wizardry on a podcast. So if you think you're getting rid of me, you are sorely mistaken. I won't be here in episodes anymore, but I will still be here in spirit. And I've had the best time with you all. Thank you so much for letting me be a part of it, everybody.
Thank you for being a part of our lives, and you'll always be SWOFF. Let's get a big group hug. Let's get an e-hug going, shall we? Come on, everybody.
Love you
Chat,
guys.
you better be hugging too. What's happening? Wonderful, wonderful to have you, Colo. And we will miss you terribly. But we love you, and we always want you to do the best thing for yourself. I think we can all agree on that. So while we are sad to see you go, I think I can speak for everybody here when I say we are happy that you are taking care of yourself, and you are doing the best thing for yourself, and that you are trying to heal in the best way that you can.
You're doing amazing.
Yes. You're doing amazing. Now I'll play some happy music.
Just the juxtaposition of this song and then all of us just like completely destroyed crying. Let's just sit on it for an extra couple minutes, shall we?
I'm so dehydrated.
I gotta help a little bit with the feelings, just whatever I can, right?
So sweaty.
Yeah. So thank you again for all being wonderful. If you haven't done so, please make sure you're following all of these wonderful people. For the end of the year, normally we have some Quidditch and stuff to dole out some points and things, and we've got some other stuff to do. And I think we should continue with our normal end of session stuff that we do, no matter what. I've got to actually send a message to you really quick, Luxie, because I have to know something. It's going to be on Discord. So why don't we go around the room and we do some relationship stuff? Plus ones, minus ones?
This one's amazing.
I can't explain it, but I have +1 to Maisie.
I think my +1's going to Maisie.
My +1's going to me.
I'm kidding. It's going to
I
Maisie.
love myself.
It's going to Maisie.
My +1 will also go to Maisie. Yes, I may have asked this because I knew what would happen. We're going to do some school class roles next. But first, we have an interlude that we usually do every school year. This year is no exception. We have a special interlude that is happening this year. Rosie, would you like to say what that is?
I'm not gonna confirm or deny. I'm DMing you for your interlude this year in an interlude we're calling Nightmares and Nonsense. So I hope you will still join us because I've never done that before, and I expect it to be nothing but chaos, and you get to see Whack play in his own system. So, like, Rosie DM whacking the system.
Wait, Rosie DM or Lux DM is
We'll have to find out later.
One of those is worse, and it's kind of hard to figure out which, really.
I'm sorry, I'll note that down for when I'm DMing you. And
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
Any other
See, now
sass,
you
huh?
know you got to take the sass notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will announce the timing and stuff. Obviously, we've got a lot of stuff going on. I want to make sure we've got plenty of time to do it right. And yeah, we'll see how things go with that. We'll be giving you guys info as soon as we have it, and let you know on timing for everything. But let's do some classes school roles. Let's finish things off here. We've already gone an hour over, and we need to wrap things up because there are people that have things to do in lives, etc. Let's hurry it up with some classes school roles. Mind rolls, please, everybody. Oof.
Oh, yeah, I am dazed.
Literally the best roll that I've done today. I'm
Same.
dazed, and it doesn't matter. So awesome.
Oh no.
I'm going to start with the Ravenclaws. Alexander, unfortunately, rolled a 5 for -5. Let's finish
He's
off.
going through it, okay?
I also rolled a 5, unfortunately.
Barney's going through it too.
Last one. 10. So we get 10 points. So back, we get reset. Okay, next up, we have the Gryffindors. 10 from Clem, an 8 from Olive, and a 14 from Maisie. That's 25 points for the Gryffindors. Now, we're not done with points yet here this year. I would like to point out we still have some Quidditch matches and some things to do. So we still have more points to give out. These points that we have tonight are not the last points for the year. We'll see where things end up. And let's see. Rosie with a 14 is 10 points for Hufflepuff. And 2 more rolls. An 8 for me. 5. And a 7 for another 5. So 20 points overall. Very nice for Hufflepuffs. And then last but not least, the Slytherins. A 9 and a 7 from Cornelia. Gets 10 points for Slytherin total. And the last one for me is a 5. Sorry, Slytherins. Did I just do that right? No, that was not correct. You had 230, right?
Chat?
No, you had 220. 220, and then 10 goes up to 230, and now that goes back down to 225. There we go. Perfect. The undo command works, apparently, in OBS. Glad to see it.
Hey.
Okay. Sorry, my brain is a little exhausted from the episode. Let us do our downtime moves. Why don't we start off with Colo? Shout out and downtime move.
Think about play some Quidditch, and I don't think it's going very well because I'm injured and I have -2 to my body, and you know all of that. But actually, do you know what? I'm going
Can I
to play
use my
Quidditch.
chocolate to heal Colo before she plays Quidditch? Please, Whack. Please, Whack.
I'll
Can we
change my
inspire
mind.
her?
I'm not gonna play Quidditch because I'm gonna be playing a lot of Quidditch, and really, what I want to do is just hang out with you all. So let's do that. But I haven't even opened the thing because I've been a little bit emotional. So let me just ignore it. I would like to do some social activities. This is also not going to go well, but that's okay.
A 7. Okay.
I had a -2 on that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised it was that good.
I think everybody wants to spend time with you.
Yeah, I just want to hang out with everyone.
Get a
That's
+1 or a -1 to a relationship.
Yes.
Why don't you go ahead and give everybody a +1?
Look, this is not right. You're being nice. You're supposed to be the headmaster of doom. Like, this is so suspicious. How dare you?
I feel like today's a pretty special day.
Okay. ain't gonna argue with it.
Tell everybody who you are and where they can find you, please.
Hello. I'm a very ginger crying mess, and I make content on the internet. It'd be great if you wanted to come and say hello. I stream on Twitch. I play games with my feelings in the driving seat, and I get them all wrong, and I have the best time doing it. So if that sounds fun, come say hi. You can also find me on YouTube. I'm currently filming a series for YouTube called Colo Explains. And let me just be very clear on this. I'm not explaining anything. I am absolutely terrible at explaining, and that's the joke. There's a lot of films that I haven't seen, like really, really big films. I don't get any film references. I'm kind of new to understanding films. And I was asked to watch them and film my reaction. So that's in the process at the moment. If that sounds fun to you, then come on over. The first one is Indiana Jones. I recently learned that there was more than one Indiana Jones movie. I only ever thought that there was one. And if that tells you what you need to know about this series, then there you go. But really just go say hi to all these lovely people and keep supporting Table Story, because it's just a joy. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, so I'm just gonna say that, if that's okay.
Please go follow Hello It's Colo on Twitch. And is it the same thing on YouTube as well, Colo?
Yep, Hello It's Colo everywhere.
Please go follow her. She's wonderful. She deserves to follow. She's an excellent role player and a great human. Please go give her a follow. And if you have yourself a Prime Gaming sub, or if you just want to throw money her way, go sub to her channel. Thank you so much, Colo. Luxie?
Hey, I would like to also participate in this social activity that is hanging out with Maisie in any capacity. So I'm rolling a heart roll. Oh, friendship, complete success. Sorry, I'll write that down for next time.
Just in big letters anywhere on the sheet. Friendship, complete success.
No, read between the lines, you jerk. Hey, did you know that you could follow Hello It's Colo on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube to keep up with Colo? She can't shout herself out for the rest of the show because she's leaving. So I think that you should go now, and then every time for the rest of time, I'll just be like, my name's Lexi Games, and you can follow me at twitch.tv/Hello It's Colo. Thank you. But also, seriously, you should go watch her YouTube because it's so good, and I watch it sometimes when I'm trying to go to sleep. Don't look at me. You have a very soothing voice.
Thank you so much, Luxie. Mirggles.
Hello. I would also like to hang out with Maisie. Thank goodness I'm not exhausted in the game. There we go. I don't know what that gave me.
Social activities? So
Yeah.
Actually, I think you rolled the wrong thing, but we'll pretend
sounds
like you
correct.
rolled. We'll pretend like you rolled the right thing. It's a heart roll, but it's okay. It's all right. You got a 7. You can add a +1 or a -1 to your relationship.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so twitch.tv/Hello It's Colo. Hello It's Colo on Twitter. Hello It's Colo on YouTube. Please go check her out.
She almost got all the way through that shout out without crying.
I really
Everybody
did,
was
y'all.
so close.
That was so
a
close.
Brutal voice crack. I was like, ah.
Thank you so much, Mirggles. Think it works.
Right, hear me out. I don't think Olive would let Maisie leave Hogwarts without one last attempt to have her try and join a club with her. I think she thinks Maisie's so much like cooler and more interesting to talk to than she is, so she's like foolproof. If I bring Maisie, sure they might not want me there, but like we're a package deal kind of thing.
Can I inspire Olive to do this?
Absolutely. You get a +1 to your roll.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna need that luck that I've had all game long. We cannot deny it. I rolled like 17 12s in a row. I don't think I failed a single roll all day. If I fail this roll right now, we know that it's just not meant to be ever, and I should give up. Maisie, would you like to go to a club with me?
I would love to, and I've inspired you as a +1, but I don't know which stat it is to join a club. I'm sorry, my brain is gone.
That's a 9.
Oh my god!
For the very first time, Olive
Oh my god, I'm in the club!
has joined a school club for various activities. And you get to learn a secret from one of the people on your relationship list.
I'm finally in a club. I'm so happy. Okay, can I write down the secret for later to ask you for who?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Well, you would ask.
Thank you.
You would ask either me, depending on if it's an NPC, or if it is one of your friends. You can ask them.
It's definitely going to be an NPC. I want dirt on some of the professors.
Someone that's on your list. But yes.
Oh, I got him on my list.
Okay.
The headmistress and I were like, whew, after this year, are you kidding me? Hi. Hi, I'm Naga Oryx. I've been playing Olive, and I have also been crying for a million years because Kolo is leaving, but also Maisie's leaving, and I just wish that we were able to give you the group hug in person, because we love you so much. And if y'all want to join in giving a virtual group hug to Kolo, then go check out Hello It's Kolo on all social platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. I don't know what else you use. TikTok? Are you on the TikToks, Kolo? Are you on? Yeah, she's on the TikTok. Yeah, you can find her on TikTok. And thank you for having me. Forehead kisses. I love you.
Thank you so much. Last but not least, Zagoticus.
See how I do it? Social activities? Okay. Lots of crying.
Crying so hard you couldn't come to the social activity.
Yeah, I was just like, this is the last time we
stand outside
the room. Hi everyone, I'm Zagoticus. You can find me, Zagoticus, on all the internet places. Thanks for joining us for another season. Thank you very much to my wonderful cast mates and Whack, and of course especially to Kolo. It was so much fun this year, having the Alex and Maisie dynamic to explore. I very much appreciate it. It was great fun role playing. I got a lot out of it, so thank you so much. And if you guys are wondering why we're all so sad to see Kolo go, then you best head on over to Hello It's Kolo on all the internet places and hang out with her, and you'll be like, oh, I see why, because she's just so wonderful. So make sure you go do that too. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so much, buddy. I'm Mike Steven. I've been your Headmaster of Doom. I've dragged the players kicking and screaming through the adventure today and through this whole school year. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Much love to you, chat. Much love. Thank you. A big, big thank you to Kolo, whom you can follow at Hello It's Kolo in all of the places. Please go follow. Thank you so much, everybody. We hit our second year of doing the show in October. 2 full years of doing this show, and it's been fantastic. I've loved every minute of it, and the cast has been absolutely fantastic. You've all been amazing, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much to Kolo. Thank you so much, Luxie. Thank you, Mirggles. Thank you, Naga Oryx, and thank you, Zagoticus, for being awesome role players. Thank you for being great friends, too. You did an amazing job. Again, another wonderful year. Just fantastic. Thank you. I couldn't ask for a better group of people to play this game with, to test this game with, and to just have a great time with. So thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for doing that. Cola, we're going to miss you so much. And, you know, we all love you and we all appreciate you. Thank you. And, I'm really looking forward to seeing what Rosie's going to put us through in the interlude. And I know Luxie's going to do an awesome job because she's fantastic. And we'll see you guys soon. We'll let you know. Make sure you're following us here on Twitch, Table Story on Twitch, Table Story on YouTube. Come hang out in the Discord, tablestory.tv/Discord, where you can talk with people of like minds about this show and the other shows that we do. And you can come check out all the different shows and things that we do. We have a wonderful show called Spellwind that's on tomorrow. That is at 4 p.m. Eastern, same time as this show. And I do a stream in the at 1 p.m. Eastern. That is Whack Designs, a TTRPG. So if you want to see me create a TTRPG, that's the place to do it. You get to see how crazy my brain is. So come hang out. Otherwise, we'll see you for the interlude, and we'll post the times when we've got them up on Twitter and in the Discord. So thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Peace out. Bye.
Bye.